was like a
Are you sure you want to do this?
yeah. Hey, by the way, you're about to end the stream. You sure you want to do this? I mean, I started stream again, but let me know if it's on a different thing now.
It probably is.
Probably is, yeah. Restream says it's still live. And
Yeah,
I it's on a different one now?
Yep.
Fuck. Well, happy Easter, everybody. Let's roll the intro again.
Tonight, tell me what you think.
Yes! Very fun. And that one's for you, Mule.
Oh my, this is why I'm in a mood. What's up, everybody? Hopefully everything is still working. We're on a I had to start it over. I'm trying to I got the chroma key to stop, right? But accidentally, instead of going to studio mode, there's a button on OBS. You guys don't know any of this, most likely. OBS, by the way, you guys want to do this, I would be more than willing to show you. It's not that bad, but there are a few things that you need to know. For one, you need OBS. It's free. Absolutely 100% free. It's how I do all of this magic, right? It's not that bad. Now, you can get over produced shit. I you know, I like it, and I've been really working on getting it. I don't know. I make too much work for myself. By the way, I need to send an invite to everybody or put it in the comments. So hold on a second. Let's copy that to clipboard. Close that out. Let me go do that real quick. Happy Easter. That is right. I think it might be just you and me, Riddle, but I'm going to talk today a little bit. Well, it's Easter. I'm going to talk a little bit about Quick Disconnect Omega, or I think it's the Plan B by Omega. Might look it up actually. Let's see. Content. Live. Yeah, I can't believe it. 6 minutes in, and I freaking screwed that one up. I'm going to have to go back and delete that one because that's just ridiculous. Let's see. There we go. Turn that off. Paste. Hold on. There we go. That's in there, and I will go ahead and pin it. Boom. Done. Just like that. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. Hey, I think that's probably the best Trump impersonation I've ever done. And nobody's here to see it.
Right?
Oh my goodness. I hope somebody comes back and watches that later because that was amazing. I might actually clip that, put that in like intros and shit. Right? So I got a hat. Right? It has the little Velcro-y thing, so I got to get more patches. I was going to go get more patches today, but then I remembered it's Easter. I can't do a damn thing on Easter. I am a Christian. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, or I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, right? I still agree with most of their teachings. However, there's a lot of stuff where I differ with them. And if you watch my biblical Patriot Bible chat, if you watch that, you'll know there's quite a few things that I disagree with the Seventh-day Adventist on. Anyway, we never really grew up like, ooh, it's Easter, right? We just never did. We do have a service like, yeah, he's risen and all that. You know, there's a little thing, but it's not like we go out with the whole church and do an Easter egg hunt. We just don't do that shit. Because it's not about eggs. And the whole Easter bunny and collecting eggs is a pagan holiday. In fact, I believe Easter itself is a pagan holiday. I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, apologize. So, I wanted to get a quick disconnect for my suppressor. And I didn't know... Hold on a second. Okay. I wanted to get a quick disconnect from my suppressor or a mounting system, because it was a direct thread, and after a few rounds it would back off. What's up, Caitlin? How you doing? Welcome. This is something that maybe you guys know about. So I asked Cuz, I texted Cuz, I was like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing, right? What would you recommend? What do you use as a mounting system for your suppressor? Because I don't want it to walk off anymore, right? And he said ABS or ABC. I don't know. It was a thing that he said, right? And I was like, all right, fine. I went to the store. First of all, they didn't have it. I was like, fuck. That's fine. I can get it somewhere else, right? But then they started to explain to me it wouldn't work because my suppressor is within the rail, right? So my suppressor tucks in to the rail. You can see that it tucks into the rail. And so the mounting system that Cuz recommended wouldn't work, because in order to take the suppressor off, I'd have to remove the rail, because you have to access this part. I was like, okay, well, I guess I gotta go with something else, because I want to be able to keep that look, right? That was the whole reason that I made sure the barrel was shorter than this rail. This is a rail from something else, and I just divvied it. I gave it to this rifle, although I'm pretty sure that I might get rid of this rail and put this rail on something entirely different. Anyway, so I was like, well, what do you got? What would you recommend? I want to be able to switch this suppressor over to a 308. I want to switch it over to a 5.56, whatever, right? Whatever it is. Thank you very much, Broken Patriot. I appreciate that. It is my pride and joy. I'm doing good. Hey, Riddle. Yeah. Man, I miss you guys already. I don't know about you, if you guys do too, but man, I'm like, rather be getting frozen margaritas in a drive-through. Fuck Arizona. How dare Arizona not have a drive-through margarita shop? This is my pride and joy. It cost me a lot of money. I put this together, from parts here and there because it was too damn expensive. I know it's ridiculous. I know that. That's kind of the charm of it, is that it's kind of ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that I'd rather have another AR pistol 300 Blackout that I use for self-defense here in my home, and not this one. This one should be a safe queen of ridiculousness, right? I need to talk to Eric or Ebomi and see if I can't get a cup holder put on this thing. Like, it really needs to be over the top Mall Ninja style, right? But I like it. And as far as the suppressor goes, I did go with the what was it? Omega 3, the Plan B or something like that. Hold on. So there it is. There's for one, here's another thing that I didn't want. A lot of these mounting systems add length to your suppressor. It was going to add like another inch, and I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. I mean, whatever. I'd rather have an extra inch long on my suppressor than have it walk off, right? So I was like, that's fine. But he found this one, or he recommended this one, and let me see. This is the Plan B Omega. Plan B Omega. Oh, pre-on. Hold up. I got you, bro. I got you. What's up? No, you can celebrate Easter if you want. I mean, you just know some shit about suppressors because you've had them before. Pistol suppressor. Oh, yeah. So there's the...
Can't hear him.
I can't hear him. Hold on. I got it. Thank you, Riddle. There we go. Sorry. So
I can celebrate Easter. Thank you for letting me celebrate Easter, Stinger. I appreciate it.
No, that's all right. I just sent out everybody invites, and if you wanted to come, you can. You're not required to be here at all.
No, I thought it was Sunday. I forgot it was Sunday, actually, and okay. It's been a busy weekend, and I would never miss the opportunity unless I'm sleeping to talk to you and look at Riddle Girl right in the
wave Riddle. She can't hear me because she's got headphones on too. She'll wave
Yep.
here in a second as soon as the delay kicks in.
That's all right. But I actually was on the phone with East Texas Outlaws.
Hell yeah. I sent him a text too if he wants.
Hello.
Yep.
See, there it
Hey,
is.
hey. We were talking about dumb shit, Texas, and just the normal shit. So,
Oh, I get it.
So what are you dealing with suppressor issues?
Well, so far I don't have any suppressor issues. I was talking.
Yeah.
I had texted Cuz because I wanted to get a mounting system for the suppressor that actually doesn't walk off, right?
Yeah.
And I want to be able to put it on a 5.56, a 308. So I texted Cuz like, hey, what do you got on yours? Because you've already done the research. I don't want to do the research. I got money in hand. I want to spend it today. I want whatever I get today, right?
Yeah.
And there's East Texas.
East Texas Outlaws. God, that face is ugly.
Well, at least his internet's shit, so it takes a while.
Dude, you need to take your shit outside or cut a hole in the roof and run an antenna down to your modem. Because I'd actually love to have just a regular face-to-face chat. I mean, phone calls are cool too, but
yeah.
Well, I've been outside talking to Predon, getting eat up by mosquitoes.
It was a good talk, though. I enjoyed it.
No complaints here.
You were crying the whole time.
Oh.
No. So you want the mount, huh? Yeah. All right. So
yeah. So I didn't get the one that Cuz recommended because 2 reasons. 1, they didn't have it in stock, and 2, they said it wouldn't work with the suppressor that I have because the rail or the barrel is inset into the rail, right? So I wouldn't be able to access the quick disconnect from the suppressor while it's in this rail. And so they recommended this Plan B Omega. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it or not. But one thing I really like is the fact that it did not add any length to the suppressor whatsoever, which is nice because most of the mounting ones do. This is what they call a tapered thread, so it's still kind of like a direct thread, but it's supposed to be tapered so that it holds on better and it's supposed to not walk off. And then it comes with the Cherry Bomb. Well, this one I got the Cherry Bomb flash hider, which is really hard to see, unfortunately. Especially for you guys, since you see everybody on the screen, not just myself.
Nice. Well, hopefully you get what you need and shit works out. I would love nothing more than to have the exact setup that this motherfucker has.
Yeah, I know, right?
He's got the ultimate setup.
I will be getting my site mark. Well, I'll be ordering my site mark tomorrow. I am very excited about that, and I'll be calling the company personally and like, hey, give me the Cuz special. East Texas Outlaw special, please.
Yeah, definitely tell them that Cuz sent you.
Oh, I'm going to be mentioning that as much as I possibly can without seeming like I'm sucking his dick on the side.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to.
Probably it's proud of you, but thanks for the mention.
You're all right.
Well, anything we could do to, know that you are selling scopes to them or for them. I actually, in my video, there was 2 or 3 people like Jolson and some other people that said, I am buying one of them fuckers right now.
I saw another scope at the gun store that I went to selling it for $2,800. It's supposed to be thermal. I don't know. I've never seen it, but I'm like $2,800 or probably $600 after shipping and all that. I think I'll go with the 6.
Yeah, I watched the new 4K high definition videos of Sightmark's new Wraith.
Oh yeah, they have a new one?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they make a 4K version.
Yeah, it's the 4K. The only advantage to the 4K is audio.
Ooh, it has audio
and like Wi-Fi or something. You can Wi-Fi to your phone. That's about the advantage for $200 more.
So it's it's $800 roughly.
7. Yeah, the Wraith 2X and 4X is $499, and then the 4K for YouTubers is good. But I did notice the other day or forum that like when you download the video, it doesn't show the crosshairs.
Oh,
that sucks.
but it
I'd
has
like that
sound.
to be an option. You know, like you should be able to turn that on and off.
So whatever you're doing,
No.
cuz whichever way the wind is blowing tonight is the optimal Wi-Fi sound. I could actually,
Yeah.
2 thumbs up for sure.
Definitely made sense to me.
I can actually hear what you're saying. I like to, have conversations. So it's cool. I'm glad you're getting your suppressor shit all figured out, and yeah.
I'm gonna get the Wraith, and then I just got to fix the AR, the piston system. I'm gonna contact the company, and then I'm gonna either make a video or not. I don't know. I keep going back and forth on that part, and then I'm just gonna have a regular AR-15 rifle that I've rebuilt 3 times, and finally, it'll finally work.
Yep. Boy, I tell you, getting back in the so let's keep true with the Green Dragon. Did you have a good Easter? Starting with Stinger.
And didn't do a damn thing today other than just poot around and do housework and gardening and watering the lawn, and every fucking place is closed, man. What can I do? I had a better day yesterday than I did today. I got new shirts. Right? So that's pretty badass. I also got one that says, this is a tool with an AR-15, and on the back it says, I am the weapon, which I really like that one, Got
That's
a new hat, and I even got new pants.
Nice. Holy fuck. Sporting that shit.
Hell yeah. No,
I went to the range. I went to the range. Didn't film.
Nice.
Yeah, it's always a good day when you don't have to set up cameras.
Oh man, that's a pain in the ass. Yeah.
So did you watch the videos? The comrade video? I mean, you watched it.
I have not. I apologize. I will watch that immediately today.
Now listen, you don't have to apologize to me for not watching my videos, because first off, I don't care.
Well, no, I actually want to see that. That was one that I'm waiting for that one. I'm waiting for that one. And I didn't even see it. I don't know. I've been busy. You know how it is. You get busy with shit and you forget to look on YouTube, and so I need to do that.
I force posted that, and then I posted the cannon video with Cuz fucking catching a dirty beer off the ground.
Yes, that one's a good one too.
So Cuz had a good Easter. He got to. It was that's good.
What'd you do, Cuz?
You want to hear about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Oh, we went to Mom, and my sister, she's a lesbian, and which was cool. She brought her girlfriend. Her girlfriend's cool. Her old girlfriend was a bitch. And then my nephew showed up, and he ain't cut his hair in like 5 years, so my wife braided it. I called him Jesus when he got there. And then my other nephew showed up with his boyfriend, and I stood up and shook his hand, and I looked down on him like pre-down down on people.
Yeah.
I stood up and shook his hand, looked down on him. So yeah, it's kind of like a white trash Christmas / Easter, but hey, it was all good. Me and my sister got drunk, had a good time.
Nice.
That's what I'm talking about. America.
Yep.
No, but
we diversified.
Yeah. No, and that's what you and me had this conversation before. So anybody that's in the chat, anybody that's listening, I don't care what you like to do. I don't care what you like to do in your personal time. And if you want to date girls, guys, whatever the fuck you want to do, cheers to you. But don't tell me that I should date guys.
Yeah,
it was really funny. it was really funny. I just got to get this one out. My sister was really cool. My mom's husband got talking about politics or something. I know we're not supposed to talk about that, but and my sister's like, "Yeah, it's all rainbow farts and fairy tales over there." And come like, fuck yeah, America.
Definitely. And you can talk about whatever you want here, cuz this is
Mhm.
the Green Dragon, right?
It was
So-
mostly based on politics. We just decided that we get a better crowd when we do gun chats instead. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. Besides, I was overworked on getting Fridays were horrible because I had my own and the Green Dragon. I was like, you know what? I ain't doing shit on Sunday. Let's just do the Dragon on Sunday. It works.
And this feels good to me. Like this, it's so nice to be able to talk to you guys, and it's. I'll tell you one thing that I hate talking on the phone. Like, I hate it. I'd rather talk to people face to face, or even like this is great.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be able to talk to people that are like minded. And like I said, Stinger, if you ever want to call and just shoot the shit, just call me. I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, if you have questions or if you have
Well, I'm a
whatever
lot
is
like
going
you.
on.
I'm a lot like you too, man. I don't just call people. Usually I'll have something to say, like, hey, there's another rare breed
Yeah.
trigger that's in stock right now. You know, you want another
Yeah.
one because, and they were actually in stock, and I didn't call you because I thought you already had too many. So
Yeah, I'm good on that right now.
I
but-
saved you money.
Yeah, yeah. I don't need anything else. Right now I am to the max capacity of my ammunition storage and my max capacity of my rifle and pistol storage. But I actually met somebody from a local store today. It's called Bomb Guards in our
Mhm.
area, and he is 16 years old, and he is like on the trap club for our local high school, which
Really?
first off makes me happy.
Yeah,
That makes me happy a lot because with the way schools are being liberalized
thanks,
and
Caitlin.
no guns, no fucking bows, no nothing.
I'm sure
to
Peter's
know
not
that-
going to be happy about that.
Yeah. Well, to know that they actually have a trap club
Mm.
in high school, and he was like number 2 or 3 in the trap community in our high school in my area was cool. I got to shoot his $4,000 fucking trap gun, which was way cool. I could have filmed that, but I didn't. And it was nice to actually meet somebody. And he works at Bomb Guards, and Bomb Guard sells ammo in my
Nice.
area. And I gave him my phone number, and he said, "I will hold whatever you want."
Oh, hell yeah. You got an in? Did he
Yeah.
did he know about your channel beforehand? Like, oh, dude, that's
No.
Breed on Death.
No,
shit.
no,
I want to give
No.
you all the ammo.
no. And I did my normal shit, my normal fucking freed-on shit. You know,
Right.
I said, "Hey, I got a YouTube channel, bro," and he didn't even give a fuck. He
No.
didn't give a fuck. He didn't.
You
well,
need
because
hype people. You need people that are hyping it up.
yeah, but to be honest with you, around this area, when people go, "Hey, you got a YouTube channel? What's it called?" I usually go, "I'm not fucking telling you." Just because people in this area, you don't want people to know what your channel name is. You know, you don't want, especially at the gun range.
As long as you
know, you
don't
don't-
do what Irish did. Irish used to have what was it, the Southern Indiana Prepper or something like that, or yeah. And he changed that name because he got too popular, and all of a sudden, what was it? The Prepper show that was on TV, Doomsday Preppers, contacted
Yeah.
him. He got all freaked out and changed his shit and just started over. And now, bitches, he can't get enough, to get monetized. I was like, you should have just kept the old channel.
That's a nice headset you got there, cuz that was nice. East Texas to Predon. You got a copy. East Texas to Predon. And then Heidi was walking around with Stinger the whole fucking day. I'm like, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
She wouldn't
You need to
stop.
shut the fuck up so I can fucking hear what you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was fun.
hilarious.
That was great. That fucking pistol shoot was fun as shit.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that pistol shoot.
You
For you
did.
guys out in
You
the
did
chat.
a total Trump move there
What the fuck was that?
on Caitlyn.
He grabbed her by the pussy? Yeah.
Caitlin's upstairs laughing her fucking head off. Oh shit,
Yeah, I
that's
can hear her.
funny.
I can hear her.
Yeah, that's funny. No, that was good. I'm glad that Cuz posted that footage because if he wasn't gonna post it, I was gonna post it,
Oh, yeah.
and now it's in my favorites. So
Oh man, I got some YouTube to watch tonight.
Yeah, well, if you check out his video, the FN video was great, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of like a creeper. I'm in the back waiting to see what Cuz is gonna post, and then when he's done posting footage from whatever, I'm just gonna fucking dominate the shit. And by dominate, I mean I'm gonna put a bunch of videos out that get 84 views.
Yeah.
But there's so much good shit there, like that Rick Netherly shit. I'm gonna fucking edit that all up.
Yeah, I watched his video.
It was horrible.
Something. It was something. There's a lot of shooting.
Something.
It was like 9 minutes
Yeah.
of just shooting.
Well,
Which
that's
is
good.
okay. Yeah, it's all right. It's
Yeah.
good.
People have their own editing styles, but
Yeah.
it's hard to take a bunch of shooting footage and then have context.
Yeah,
You
you
know?
almost have to have a secondary shoot of you just talking to the camera, like, all right, in this part of the video that we're watching today, we're going to be shooting this, and then cut to the scene and like, all right, well, that was great, and we'll see you in the next time.
Yeah, or you could just group the shit together, like Cuz did with the F&P 45 suppressed. You know, that was great because it was shooting the F&P 45, and I don't know if there's footage of you shooting it or if I recorded or I don't remember. So
I ain't worried about it.
I need to record that shit.
Now you just need to mount that under an AR. See?
Just tape it to Jesus Christ.
Well, it works.
Tape it to your 300 blackout pistol.
There you go.
Those pigs can get pretty close.
Have you ever watched or played what was it, Gears of War with the chainsaw guns?
Yes,
Really
sir.
fun.
I did play Gears of War.
What's up,
I got a lot
Tony?
I got a lot of weird comments on my channel about having help from an F-150 to hunt pigs or something. I don't know what's going on there. Holy Cuz, that
All right, yeah. It was kind of already incapacitated there, pre-dawn. I mean, all you had to do was walk up and pop it in the head, and it still took you 3 shots.
That fucker would not die. I shot him. But if you watch my fucking sight mark video,
No, I know. You got him.
I shot that fucker in the head 3 times. I was going to pet him. I thought he'd be okay.
Blank. I mean, you went right up there, right on his skull, and pop. That was the final one, I think.
Yeah. I thought he just wanted to be petted. That's all. I mean, I thought he was going to recover, so I didn't want to shoot him too bad. That's good. The Tactical Tony's out there in the chat.
Heck yeah. Happy Easter, he says, giving everybody the hang loose.
Yeah, Easter's Easter. People do things and eat stuff. Not me. On the fun holidays like Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving, I like to shoot guns. Like, that's my thing. I like to shoot guns.
That would have been cool. I did not do that.
Actually, I did more of this and less of this today. There was so many fucking people at the gun range. Like, it's so funny because there's only 250 members, and usually on a Saturday or Sunday there's nobody out there, so I can film or do whatever I want. I'm not like Cuz where I can walk out my backyard and shoot guns into a pond. But so I got there, and there was like an old dude and like 5 or 4 young kids, and they were fucking shooting 22 pistols and muzzle sweeping each other like a fucking son of a bitch. And for me, almost being shot a few times by kids and people and adults, I didn't even get out of the truck. I was lurking. So I was sitting in the truck, with Caitlin, and they were practicing muzzle sweeping each other. I wasn't about to get out of the truck. No, I don't want to get shot. Who wants to get shot?
Nobody wants to get shot.
So I waited till they left, and as soon as they left, I ripped the rare breed trigger out of the bag, set the targets up, did some shooting, got about 200 rounds off, maybe. And then an 80-year-old couple came down to the range and wanted to talk about membership and life and Iraq and all sorts of shit. And so I told them some stories from Texas,
Yeah.
which was cool. And they kind of looked at me and went, "What the fuck are you shooting with this shit?" And he goes, "I like to shoot bolt guns." And I was like, "I like to shoot full auto machine guns. You know, we're about the same."
Mhm.
And then I talked to them for an hour, and then they left. And then the champion trap shooter came down and fucking he wants to shoot my Chris Vector. So I told him in exchange for some ammo information,
Mhm.
call me, shoot the Chris Vector. So good Easter, good
Oh,
food, and then good shooting.
Nice.
Did you shoot anything today, cuz?
No, I did not. I'm gonna
Stop
wait
playing
for
with your
that
fucking-
cheap ass ammo. That cheap ass high dollar ammo. I'm gonna wait for it to come in.
Where'd you get that?
Palmetto State Armory had 70 cents a round for wool.
That's
So I went ahead
cheap.
and got 400.
Oh,
Yeah.
steel case 70
Yeah.
cents. That's cheap. Oh no.
That's
Ouch.
what it is now.
That
That's
sucks.
the world we
I
live
know.
in.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was able to pull off all those green tips that I'd brought, for $8 a box, so 20.
Makes me
Which-
feel guilty shooting that shit though.
No, you shouldn't
You
have.
could have traded it for hookers on the way home.
I probably could. Like, if I needed extra cash, I was going to stand out on the road like, I got ammo for money. Dollar a round.
5.56 armor piercing.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's expensive. They actually had some good deals on mags today on globalordnance.com for anybody that's listening or anybody that gives a shit. Global Ordnance had military steel mags on sale for $7 a mag.
Tactical Tony says Ammo Seek is pretty good. That place Pre-Dawn uses is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I use AmmoSeek a lot, but you gotta also, so you look at AmmoSeek, and like even I'm gonna tell you my favorite place to buy ammo from is sgammo.com. They do not pay me. They are not a local company, but they're in the United States. It's a mom and pop shop, and their prices are always on par with everything else. Now, when I say on par, I mean it's going with what the rate of ammo.
Yeah.
Still, for steel case ammo, it's 70 cents a round right now, and that is very hard to beat online. Even you go through, oh shit, there's hundreds of companies: Palmetto State Armory, SG Ammo. There's J&G Sales. I use J&G a lot.
J&G is in
and they're-
Prescott. I go there personally. It's
Yep.
actually a nice place. Yeah.
I'd like to go in there and check them
It's
out.
really
I bought
cool.
a lot of shit from J&G, and they're very
It's
good
much
people.
better when you buy it from them direct instead of the website.
Right. So you look at the ammo prices online, which you're talking steel case, 223, 55 grain is like 70 cents a round minimum. And then you go to my local Dunham's, and it's 50 cents a round for steel case. And back then, like back 2 years ago, even a year ago, 50 cents a round for steel case Wolf was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Nobody
No.
is paying that shit. I'd walk in there and go, "It's $10 for 20 fucking rounds? That is bullshit.
Yeah.
No fucking way." But then the thing is as the market fluctuates, whether it's going down in a year in price or whether it's going to keep going up, you got to pay. I guess you don't have to pay what the market asks, but if you want to continue to do what I do,
I'm still.
which is shoot.
Yeah. See, I'm a little bit more. I don't shoot as much because I don't make that kind of content, right? So I
Yeah.
used to, but now I have more leeway to wait and find that good deal. So locally, I'm driving around and that's how I was able to score the rounds that I did for the price I did
Yep.
before I came over.
But even
But-
at Bomb Guards, the green tips, they're they're competitive prices. It was $400 for 500 rounds. So it was
Under
right in that
$1.
70.
Yeah, under.
Yeah, it was right in that 70, 80 cents a round for a green tip. So it's but I'm not fucking with that 9mm shit. I'm not gonna try to fuck with 45 because that's when you start. When 45 ammo is the price of rifle ammo, that's crazy.
Yep.
So, cuz, have you gone to any? I know you reload, so you probably don't go to local stores, but I mean, have you gone to like a Bass Pro Shop or any place? And what is the price of ammo in East Texas versus what it used to be? Is it 80 cents a round for 223? Is it?
The only that ammo we shot, that 200 rounds, yeah, we shot Hornady lacquer. It was 50 cents a round. That Hornady lacquer crap was 50 cents a round. That's the only thing from Academy.
And Academy, gotcha. And a lot of people bitch about lacquer because as it starts to get hot and melt in your chamber and build up, it causes overpressure. But I got 1,000 rounds of lacquer case right now, and it's 62 grain, so it's actually military spec 62 grain, and it's very accurate, even though it's lacquer case.
That's good.
Especially out of a long barrel, 1 in 9 twist. It's just I don't have anything to shoot at besides steel, which is good enough.
You don't have any hogs that were recently ran over to shoot?
No, I could coyote hunt here. I could do coyote hunts. But I'm not about that. Like I have my time invested in YouTube channel, walleye fishing, Caitlin. No, I got things to do. I can't. I guess I could add more things to my agenda, but
FTRA says $60 for 50 rounds of 45 full metal jackets is outrageous. Yes, I would agree with that. I got 500 rounds of 45. I believe I paid like $350 for 500 of them. So I mean, it was less than 50 or 60 for 50, but it was still a lot more than I'd like to pay. But they were remanufactured though too. But they're great. I was hitting 100-yard steel with them.
I'd take reman.
Yeah.
I don't know what company is that bases their company on reman. There's an ammo company. Show. Oh, gotcha. There's actually a company that does reman. Freedom Munitions.
Yeah.
They do reman, and their fucking reman was almost more expensive than factory. I said, fuck that shit. Fuck it. Well, it's good. Everybody's Easter was cool. I wonder what Tony did for Easter. Hang out at his place.
Yeah, I don't know. He was saying just happy Easter.
Tony Tone.
He shot his airsoft bear arm claw today.
Huh. That sounds cool.
There was that.
Yeah, sound off in the comments. What did you guys do for Easter? I am interested.
I didn't do a damn thing that was interesting on Easter.
Well, who gives a fuck? 5 people? What the fuck?
6. There's 6 now. We gained 1.
There you go.
The Green Dragon. People hate this fucking place.
Yeah, they still sore at me, I think.
Well, I'm sure they like your shit better than they like this shit. Looking at my mug,
I get about 9.
And this motherfucker. Look at that motherfucker down there. God, he's ugly. He's got a dick like a Pringles can, though.
Probably this one.
Pop top. It's a pop top.
A very vain.
Sorry.
Man.
Oh fuck! That made my eyes water.
Can't stop at just one.
Oh, it was funny. I had to let that out. Anyway, back to reality. Shut up, Caitlin. Yeah, I didn't show Caitlin the video.
No.
What was the fucking? Yeah. What was that movie? Did you ever watch that movie? You're a fucking crackhead. So Cuz sent me not a video of his. Yeah, God, I got myself into trouble.
Uh-oh.
No, it was what fucking movie was that? That was the weirdest clip on YouTube I've ever seen. That was weird. I don't know where
Boogie
the fuck you
Nights.
found that shit. Oh, Boogie Nights, where he's standing in front of the mirror. Jesus Christ. That was the biggest fucking blur that I've seen ever. So it was the dude from Boogie Nights, which I've never seen, and he was standing in front of the mirror with his stuff out, saying, "I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star." And I was like, what the fuck is this? I've had some weird shit sent to me, but that was a weird link, and it had like 2.7 million views. Guess that's what it takes. Just make the blur bigger than it is.
We just need to recreate that, I guess. Get a whole bunch of views.
That was fucked up. That was fucked up. But anyway, yeah.
Well,
So I hope everybody had
I had sent you the text. I had sent you the text that I said I'm a big, bright, shining star in the mint. So
Yeah.
I sent you the link to the video.
Yeah, I got it. You got to remember that I'm 38. So I have never seen Boogie Nights. I barely saw Requiem for a Dream, and I thought that shit was fucked up. Yeah, so I did see a good movie this weekend, though. I went to see Nobody. That was, if you guys in the comments or Stinger, if you guys are into movies, action movies, and funny kind of action movies,
It's been a while since I've seen a good one.
Nobody is a very good movie.
Is it in the theaters right now or something?
Yes. Yep. Actually, the theaters in my area just opened up. And so we went to see Nobody on Saturday, and it was funny as shit. Like, it was a total violent type of. Yeah. But there was some comedy in there.
Movie tonight.
Maybe.
We might go
Nobody.
see a movie tonight. Yeah.
Maybe
It was
I just
great.
placed an order for food though.
Oh, okay.
So if you get a chance, anybody that's out there, Nobody is a very good movie. It's about, without giving it away, watch the trailer on YouTube. It's very funny. He wants his daughter's kitty bracelet back, and he will do any fucking thing to get it.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a ex.
Caitlin says it was the shit. So
Yep,
she agrees.
he was an ex FBI exterminator, and he's trying to live a homely life and change his ways. And then some events happen.
Some shit goes down, and he's dragged right back in after he tried to get out.
Yeah,
It's John Wick 4.
Yeah, so it was like that, but it was a little more funny,
Right.
and there was a fair share of violence, and it was graphic violence, like
Nice.
John. Well, it was more graphic. It was more brain.
It's over the top graphic, like
Yeah, it's
Okay.
bones breaking type graphic, and I usually don't like bones breaking kind of graphic because I've broken bones before.
yeah. I broke my ankle once, and every time I see somebody land on their ankle wrong, I'm like,
Yeah, try walking on it. Ugh.
yeah, no. I mean, if you haven't seen the pictures, my ankle was dangling. Like I have so much hardware in my leg right now. It's not even funny.
I don't want to see the pictures, and if you send them to me, this is going to be a short one.
You're saying you want me to send you the pictures? Right?
No, if you send them to me, I will fucking take you off my list.
Oh, come on now.
No, not come on now.
What do you
Fucking
want?
broken ankle.
The bone just it didn't bust through. It just poked. You
I don't
You
care.
can see the bump.
Shut up.
That's not his ankle. That's his bone. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I broke my ankle, and it was pretty severe too. And I rode my bike home,
Oof.
and it was grinding the whole way. There's nothing like bone on bone contact. What
Oh, there we
is
go.
that?
Second.
That's a nice flag.
Fuck yeah. Second
That's
Amendment.
a nice flag.
Yep.
So yeah, Nobody was good. It was cut a hole in a guy's throat and stick a straw in there so he doesn't bleed on it, choke on his own fucking blood type shit.
I've seen that kind of shit done with like a pin, like a writing pin. You take the internals of the pin out, jab it right into his throat, and supposedly they can breathe.
This fucker he hit him in the face and the neck with a pipe, and so it collapsed his trachea, and he had to cut a little hole in there, and then they showed such a close-up view of sticking that fucking straw in his. Oh God! And I've seen Hostel and Hostel 2.
Yeah.
And that shit was fucking graphic for my life, where they showed the drill bit going into his leg, and the skin coming. That was graphic. So that's a nice flag, cuz. When did you have that before?
You gotta wait for the message to get to him.
You shouldn't have moved, cuz. I'm telling you. Have you had that flag before? It's a nice flag.
Coming to you. It's the
What?
one. It's the one.
Really?
Coming to you from
Rooster. Rooster.
That was
That's
a
cool.
rooster.
the
doing-
one coming to you.
You shouldn't have moved your fucking chair.
Mm-mm.
The flag is disrupting the fucking internet service. But I heard you. That's the one that's coming to me from Rooster. That's very cool. Rooster got me a flag, and apparently that's the flag that he
That's
got
a
me.
good one. I like that one. Yeah.
I have one flag, and it is no more bullshit. Right next to the Fear and
Oh,
Loathing in
by the
Las
way.
Vegas.
By the way, because of our conversations in Texas, we decided to watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. We'd never seen it. I'd never seen it. We got
Hated it.
high as fuck and drunk as fuck at the same time and watched that shit. And I have no idea what that movie was about.
Oh man, you have to watch it like 37 times before
All right,
you
well,
can figure it out.
I watched it once and I realized Johnny Depp went to Vegas and did something. What he did, I'm not exactly sure, but it was kind of funny. We were laughing our heads off.
Yeah,
But, I mean, I
So-
recommend it, but it's, as far as the
it's
plot,
fucked up.
I have no fucking idea.
So the thing is that was his life back in the 60s. So people, I mean, well, there's nobody watching. There's 6 people watching, but there's so the plot of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is kind of open, but it is his life back in the 60s.
Right.
4.
Right, the guy who wrote it, right? Yeah, I remember hearing
Yep.
about that was basically what happened. Which,
Yeah.
how is he even still fucking alive after that?
He's not.
Oh, okay.
Well, he was, but now he's dead because he shot himself in his backyard with his typewriter.
Oh, okay.
No, well, if you knew, I don't know Hunter S. Thompson, but I know a lot of articles on him. I've read a lot of books on Hunter S. Thompson. And he was the kind of guy that he didn't want the universe to tell him when it was his time to go.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like 76 and he was all fucked up and he felt like shit every day. So he woke up one day and said, "This is the end of my life." He called his family and said, "Hey, let's have a really good fucking big meal." His family all came over. They all ate and had a really good time, smoked some joints. And then he left the dinner table with his typewriter, walked out onto his ranch backyard, put a 44 Magnum in his mouth and blew the top of his head off and said, "This is the end of my life." So the movie was mainly based on that. That was actually based on a true story.
Yeah.
Where he was a journalist. So what he would do is he would cover, he was a professional journalist. So he was hired to do stories on like the Mint 800 in Las Vegas. And then he was hired to do journalist stories on different things. And so what his take was is he would do the anarchist deal and he would go and take a shitload of drugs and alcohol and ether. I mean, he was huffing ether.
Yeah, the
and
ether
he would-
thing was throwing me like, who fucking huffs ether?
A lot of people huffed ethers back in the 60s.
Yeah, I did not know that was a thing.
So it was his take on what he did when he was being a journalist. So when he would take all these drugs and he would go, "Oh, fucking cuz has got the COVID. Look at him, he's blowing his
Mm.
fucking nose. He's got the Texas coup."
He's gonna do it all over that flag. You're gonna get a snotty flag.
So that was his kind of recollection of what happened then.
Mhm.
And he did, and Johnny Depp fucking for some reason did a really good job at
he
portraying
was
a
very
drug addict.
Very convincing. Very.
Yep. So he that was his coverage of the Mint 500. Oh, there's the shirt.
There
There's
it
the
is.
shirt.
Fuck yeah.
So when you watch that movie, there's little things here and there that kind of catch your eye after you watch it a bunch of times,
Mhm.
and it kind of grows on people. Some people hate it. You know, I know people that
I
watched
didn't hate it. I didn't hate it.
and they absolutely fucking hated it. But
I
it
think
was
if I watched it sober, straight, there ain't
Yeah.
no fucking way I would have liked that movie. I think you have to
Yeah.
get high and drunk at least.
yeah,
Maybe. And I was actually telling Riddle Girl, I think this movie might seem different depending on what drug you're on at the time. Like if I did shrooms and watched that movie, it would probably be a totally different movie than it was when I got high and drunk. And if I do
Yeah.
acid, it's going to be a whole different movie, right? So
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. I'm going to watch that movie again on something else next time.
and I actually personally like it completely sober. There's the fucking Pinnacle bottle. That bitch is from Minnesota. So I watched it sober, and there's actually a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas book, and I read that, and it was a very short book. It's very thin,
Hmm.
but it was just interesting to see his take on the Mint 800, and like how that's based on his style of journalism, and so he would just get as many drugs and alcohol as he could, ingest them, and see what his body could take, and then he would go and write a story on the Mint 5000 or 800. I mean, and then it was funny because he walked into that drug convention with all those cops,
Mhm.
and he had a suitcase full of drugs and ether and mescaline and shit. And he walks into this drug convention where all these cops are talking about how bad drugs are for you, and then they actually were snorting cocaine in the convention. So it was cool.
Yeah. Now, what was the thing that he was doing a story on? You said it, and I must have missed it in the movie. The something
Well,
200 or 300?
it was a Mint 800,
Yeah, the
which
Mint-
was the
Mint-
dirt bike race
Okay.
in Las
There-
Vegas.
Okay.
And the way he portrayed it was so fucked up because it was fucked up how he portrayed it. And
Mhm.
the hard part to get in that movie is what you're watching is not actually how things went down.
Right.
It was how he portrayed it through the drugs.
Gotcha.
That's the hard part of seeing the movie and seeing the plane is everything that he wrote and all the journalistic stuff that he did was his portrayal of the event on the drugs. When he'd go to the horse races and shit, he
Yeah.
wouldn't even report what horses won. He would report what the audience looked like and how many, and he would do drawings about what the audience looked like and how fucking richy and high they were, and it was cool. And it goes much deeper than that. Like when he did the adrenochrome in the hotel room, like adrenochrome comes from the human adrenaline gland. And if you were to ever research that, your mind would be totally blown just on that portrayal, because apparently the Clinton administration got adrenochrome and they would take it, and it's apparently anti-aging, but the only way to get adrenochrome is from the adrenaline gland of a human body, and it's better if it's from children that are suffering.
Really?
It's very, very weird. It's a very weird deal.
That's messed up.
Very messed up. So I like twisted movies like that, but I don't know what. And then like Hunter S. Thompson, he actually infiltrated the what was the biggest biker gang in the world, the Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
So Hunter S. Thompson back in the 80s actually dressed up as a Hell's Angel and infiltrated the Hell's Angels biker group, and
Yes.
then wrote stories on it.
See, I never heard
So-
anything about this guy previous to this, so this is all
Yep.
news to me.
And that's why I'm not a Hunter S. Thompson like fucking fanboy
No,
or anything, but it was just interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting that, because it'd be so hard to be a fucking complete fucking drug addict and then say, hey, I want to write a fucking story on the inside of the Hells Angels. What should I do? I have to become the character. I have to learn how to ride a motorcycle. I have to fucking get involved in nefarious things. And so that's what he did, is he actually joined the Hells Angels and did what they did. And then he would write the stories on the Hells Angels and what they did, what kind of group they were. And then he was hated by the Hells Angels, and they all wanted to kill him after they found out that he was infiltrating their biker group.
Wasn't the first or the last time either.
Yeah. And then there was Where the Buffalo Roam, which is a really good movie, which was also a Hunter S. Thompson film. But if you go on YouTube and search Hunter S. Thompson, it is there's some really cool shit on there about what, like, his daily routine would have killed you or me today. I mean, he would get up, he would snort some cocaine. Then he was like, well, I'm really high on cocaine. I need to fucking settle myself down. So he would drink some whiskey. And, and then he would have some pancakes. And then he would start doing mescaline all day. And then he would take a couple hits of blotter acid. And then he would, shoot at his neighbors for a while. So, anyway, enough about that. I'm glad you guys watched it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's interesting for sure. I'm going to definitely have to dive into that a little bit more because, knowing if it was just a movie and it was all made up, that was a weird movie. But this is shit based on reality. Fuck, man, that makes it a lot more interesting. Kind of want to do a deep dive on it.
Yeah. And it was all based off of like the American dream and what the true American dream was. And when they were like the Flamingo Hotel and all that stuff that they went through, that is actually a hotel in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And then they had like the circus, and the circus was kind of cool because Bazooko Circus, for a while there was actually the Carousel Bar, which was considered
hilarious. Like trying to can you imagine
get him off
drunk? Can you imagine just drunk? Let alone all the drugs he was on, and he was fine, right? It was his friend who was having the problem trying to get up. Yeah. Oh my goodness! I don't need no moving bar that you then have to get off of, like a freaking not an escalator. Well, kind of like an escalator, but one of those people movers or whatever, Yeah,
and it's almost that's why you almost have to be sober at least one time when you watch it, or high, because the little comments and the things that they say, when they were on the Carousel Bar, and he looks over at the waitress and he goes, "Do you like fucking those polar bears?" Or whatever he said to the wait. It was just so funny because then the waitress got pissed and trying to get him off the carousel. But apparently that was a real bar back in the 70s, and so people considered that like the heart of Las Vegas. The Bazooko Circus and that spinning carousel, and then the total surrounding of it was very interesting. And for me, for a guy growing up, when I was born in 82, all that stuff was completely non-existent anymore. The Flamingo Hotel was still there, but it was about the big acid wave of the 60s. And then when he was talking about, you could almost see where the wave had crested and then crashed and then rolled back into the ocean. That wasn't about a true wave. That's about the wave of the 60s where hippies were almost at the point of winning the government. They were taking over, right? And so you could almost see the wave of Americans, whether they were hippies or not. That's up to you as your judgment. But where they, the hippie movement, the love, and the great acid wave of the 60s and early 70s was so big. And then something happened where Reagan or whoever it was did the just say no to drugs thing,
Reagan was the just say no, but that was in the 80s. I would say the hippies stopped in probably like the early 70s,
right?
Probably before 75, which at that time I think it was either Carter or Nixon.
Yeah, I think it was actually Nixon, right? Because in the movie, when he was taking the adrenochrome, he had the blanket over his head, and he was watching TV and Nick's in there on the TV, and all you heard was him repeating, "Sacrifice, sacrifice, sacrifice." You know, it was.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and it's so hard to get into type shit like that. Like, I don't like really deep movies where I have to figure shit out, but every time I watch it, I kind of
Don't ever
see
watch
how.
Inception. That is
Yeah,
fuck that.
I've
movie.
been there.
Yeah,
I've watched Inception,
Oh.
and
it was horrible.
it fucking blew my fucking brain wide open. I only watched it once, and I will never watch it again.
Exactly. Same here. I'm like, I don't need to know. And besides, by the time you watch it 100 times, you're like, yeah, it wasn't that great.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, you know. There's a lot of those movies out there that make you think.
What's up, Biker Bob? How you doing?
Biker Bob's in the house.
Yeah, Biker Bob is in the house. Talking about
Biker
Fear
Bob.
and Loathing in Las Vegas. Have you seen it? It's a movie about somebody's life that I just researched. Hold on. It's I got it here. It is Hunter S. Thompson and his life.
Yep.
That was an interesting movie. Me and a real girl watched it recently because of a conversation we had in Texas about it. And I was like, I haven't seen that movie. Let's get high. Let's get drunk. Let's watch it. It was all right.
I'm glad you guys watched it.
Hell yeah. There was another one that you'd recommended that I wrote down as well that we're gonna be watching eventually. And then Riddle
What
Girls
is it?
never. I forget. Hold on. Let me see if it's still in the text.
It doesn't matter. I was kind of intoxicated a lot of the time.
Yeah, me too. And then Riddle Girl's never seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which I was surprised by because that's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
So
that's
we're
good.
gonna eventually watch that one. The Envy movie. That was the one that we were talking about with Ben Stiller and the Jack Black with the poo be gone or the van. What was it? The vanish. You know where they make the poop disappear? The dog poop. Vaporize. That's what it was. You're the one that brought this shit up. You're like,
No, I have never seen that movie.
fuck you. I'm pretty fucking sure I remember that correctly.
I wasn't there, so I don't remember.
All right.
No,
You
no, we talked about a lot of shit though. You know, I like Ride Along with Ben Stiller. Yeah, I've watched that. So there's a lot of them. But
Well, that movie we hadn't seen because it came out in, I think, 2003, 2004. And that's when me and Riddle first kind of got together because of our exes. And we had to move out. We had to move into other places. She moved to Indiana for a while. I moved out by myself for a while. Then eventually we got together. But I mean, that whole year wasn't doing
Yeah.
shit like watching movies or going to movies. So that's why we missed that one. And I was surprised because I thought, I've seen pretty much every Jack Black movie. I thought there was at least any good ones.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys are together and everything worked out because you guys are perfect for each other, and it was really
Oh,
cool
thanks.
meeting both of you. I'm glad things are on track.
Oh, yeah.
I
It
think
worked out.
Memento is another really weird movie that blew my fucking mind because it was filmed in reverse.
Oh,
So that's the only movie that I've ever seen that was filmed that way, where it was filmed in reverse. So the beginning of the movie is the end of the movie, and
well, Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction kind of did that, and Pulp Fiction for me was a trip because that was the first time I ever seen a movie do that. Was
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, and I'm like, what the fuck? That guy just died. How the hell is he still here?
right,
You know?
yeah, that blew my mind too.
Yeah.
Fiction. Yeah, it was the whole and the skipping of the scenes back and forth and different people and different groups of people. That was really
It took
fucked
me a
up for
couple
me.
times to figure that one out. Yeah.
Yeah, but Memento was about a guy that he had an injury and he couldn't remember. He could remember long term, but he couldn't remember short term. So he couldn't remember more than 10 or 15 minutes of his life at a time.
Hmm.
So every 15 minutes, his memory would reset,
Oh.
and so he could go to a bar and be sitting in a bar and order a beer, and then 15 minutes later, he couldn't remember where he was or how he got there. And so he had all these fucking tattoos all over his body. So when he
Right.
woke up in the morning, he looked at his chest, and his chest says brush teeth, you know? And so his whole body is full of these tattoos, and his whole goal in life is to figure out who killed his family. And so he has all these pictures, these Polaroid pictures with descriptions on them, on like the leads that he had got every 15 minutes of his life. and it was very fucked up. Like my mind was so blown over Memento that it was fucked up.
Biker Bob says, yeah, he watched the movie and read the book. Hunter is a legend. He hung out with the big red one till they beat the shit out of him. I don't know what the big red one is. And then don't piss off the HA. Whichever that. The Homeowners Association?
Yeah. So like I said, Hunter's he is a legend in my mind because of the way he lived his life, and in my mind he was a true American because he kind of did whatever the fuck. Actually, he did a video. He was on the Conan O'Brien show.
Yeah, I saw that on YouTube. I'm gonna watch
shooting
that.
fucking machine guns. That was the most epic shit because they started the fucking Conan O'Brien show where Hunter said, "Well, we have to fucking have some drinks before we shoot these machine guns. That's it." And so him and Conan were fucking drinking God, I can't remember what his favorite drink was off the top of my head, but they drink some whiskey and then they were shooting machine guns. And that was that video was taken very late in Hunter's career. You could tell that he was a very old kind of man at that point, but you could tell just in that video that he was a very American kind of guy. His search was for the American dream, and he wanted to live his life as such, So, and like I said, I don't have any skin in the game when it comes to that, but just seeing his life and how he lived it and the interviews when they interviewed him and the people that did interview him, which was really hard to get interviews with Hunter S. Thompson because of his erratic behavior.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, he woke up and fucking started doing cocaine right away, and then and he did a multi variety of uppers, downers. His life, he didn't think that his body would take care of itself. So when he was tired, he would snort cocaine. When he was too high on cocaine, he would do something. He would start taking downers to try to level himself out.
Yeah. I would love to know, without doing it, I would love to know what that shit's like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Just one day.
Just one day. But, and then the whole ether thing, his description in his book of huffing ether was very interesting. He was talking about like, it's like being outside of your body and not being able to control the drunkenness, which is yourself, and he said, it's like having an out of body experience totally and watching yourself behave in this horrible way and then go into the circus, and so he would put himself in these situations where he was actually way too fucking high to even pay the $3 to get into the circus. But Las Vegas loves addicts, right? It loves people that are drunk because that's how they get their money.
Yeah.
Is for people that are way too fucked up.
Yeah. They're marks.
Right. And
they'll comp them everything they want as long as you're spending money and drinking. You can have all the free drinks you want.
And that's the epitome of that movie to me. He'd trash one fucking Vegas hotel room and then wheel right across the street and get another hotel room comped because he was a journalist, a reporter. And that one scene where he woke up with the American flag over his head, he had the reptile tail on, and the fucking hotel room was like 2.5 foot of water. That was crazy. But enough about Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, no, it was good. I'm glad that we watched it. I'll have to watch it again at some point, but I might try to get some ether. Where do you get ether?
From the hardware store.
Oh, okay.
That's what they use to start diesel trucks.
That's how much I know.
Yep, that's what they use to start diesel trucks in the winter around here. And it was very patriotic that he used the American flag to
huff it.
to huff the ether, because he was after that American dream, he was out there to try to live.
Mule Team is in the chat saying, "Hey, gents, got 10 minutes. Wanted to say hi." What's up, Mule?
God, that sucks. I really miss talking to Mule. I guess I could call him on the phone, but I miss him in here. And hi, Mule. I hope you had a good Easter. I hope everything's going good.
We were talking about High and Loathing, or Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I had never seen it until recently. I didn't even know anything about it until Texas, and then Pre-Dawn had mentioned it. It's like, you know what? I'm going to watch that movie, and I'm going to watch it high and drunk as fuck. So
Yeah.
that was interesting. Didn't know anything about that shit until recent.
Yeah. So Mule, I hope everybody in the chat had a very good Easter. You know, just a chilled Easter. Hopefully 2021 can be the pinnacle of this decade. You know, I hope after last year of the COVID and the pandemic, I hope that even with the current administration, if you follow politics, I hope things for you and your family can be a very good year.
We've definitely had our ups and downs over the last year. I'd say the last year, 365 days, has been really good for us. I'm hoping to continue that for sure. But as far as, you know, the country goes, that kind of sucks. But, you know, you gotta separate that shit out in order to get by, man.
Well, and you know, when I watch Mule Team's videos and he's playing with his grandkids, and you know that it makes me feel happy when I watch those kind of videos, because it shows that he's enjoying his life and he's not trying to deal with fucking politics, not trying to deal with bullshit, you know. And that's kind of how, I'm not saying that I live my life like he does, but I live my life how the fuck I want to live it, really. And just, you can't always pay attention to politics continuously and just
I did
focus
that a
on
long
politics.
time ago, right? Years ago, back in like 2000, I want to say 13 or 14. I was watching Fox News like way too fucking much, you know?
Yeah.
To the point where you hear the same story over and over and like 3 or 4 times in the same day because it's just on a fucking loop. I'm like,
right.
That shit got me into a dark place. I was so better off when I stopped doing that. And, you know, even now, I'll talk about what's going on, but it's just a few stories. It takes literally like around an hour, and most of that hour is just me bullshitting anyway. So it's like, all right, well, I got caught up. I didn't have to watch anybody else's bullshit. We just read that shit together. If you saw something that you think I should talk about, fucking put it in the chat. Let's see what it is. You know, but that's about as much as I can take.
And that's why when people got all upset about not getting in the van and doing what you need to do, for me, it's about when it comes here, I will deal with it. And maybe that's a very selfish thing to talk about, but you know, you're not going to change. No matter how much you talk about it or think about it or worry about it, it's not going to change the outcome.
Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth. You know, I get that something needs to be done, but at the same time, I totally get people are like, "Nah, wait until it comes to my door." Kind of, I get it. I totally get it. It's there's no right answer to that shit.
Right. Just because I've watched so many videos and so many chats about, you know, even when Mule was talking, like, and you guys, anybody was talking about, what are we going to do to change this situation? You know, and are we going to get together to change this situation? And, you know, talking to some Iraq veterans and talking to some people that I know and deal with, the people that I know and deal with they're not gonna bend over and get fucked, I guess. Or maybe they will, but for me, it's life or liberty. And when that stuff is, when I'm presented with the question of death or bend over, it's death. And you can take that for whatever it's worth or not. You know, I don't care.
Until that, I would like to say that myself. I would say that myself. But unfortunately, until that situation shows up at your door with that muzzle in your face, you don't really, I don't think anybody really, and I'm not saying just you, but I don't think anybody really knows what they're going to do at that moment.
Right. Yeah.
We all hope to be the hero of our own story, but sometimes we're not.
Right. And I have this conversation with my 80-year-old or 90-year-old grandpa too. You know, he's in his 90s, so he doesn't care. He doesn't care what happens.
Yeah.
If they come to take his guns, guess what? He's probably gonna give them up.
Somebody like, yeah,
or not. You know, it's all depends on what your life is. And, you know, I understand people that have kids and they want their kids to flourish, but how can your kids flourish in a fucking... Ugh.
Exactly.
You know?
I was having this debate with somebody that used to watch my shit. Here's the thing. I keep driving people away from my channel. But, you know, he's like, you know, well, if they come to my house, I'm going to do this. I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to give up all your shit because your kids are in the house. And he thinks about it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I probably would. I'm like, yeah, you would. So don't even say when it comes to your, because he was, when it comes to my door. And I'm like, we need to go do some shit, right? No. When it comes to my door. When it comes to your door, you know what you're going to do? You're going to give up every single gun and you're going to beg them to leave your daughter and your kids alone and your wife. And you're going to do whatever the fuck they say. You're going to be as compliant as a motherfucker. And
yeah,
sometimes that's just how it is. When you got shit to lose and they know it, they're going to take advantage of that quick. You don't think they will? Watch history.
And I'm at that point. I'm at that point where, like, with Caitlin, even, you know, she can do whatever she wants to do. You know what I mean? So if it ever came to that point where it was life or death, give all your shit up or don't. I gave her, you know, she's our own person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't expect her to die for life or liberty or whatever. But for me, I live day to day anyway. So my passion is firearms. My passion is this country. My passion is all the men and women that have died to serve this country for our freedom. And for me, I take that kind of personally, just because I've talked to Iraq veterans and I've talked to Vietnam vets that have fought and died. And I'm not talking about piddly shit. I'm talking about combat veterans, you know, and just to hear their stories and hear what they have gone through to quote unquote protect our fucking freedom. Mm-hmm. That shit is very, in my opinion, is very near and dear to my heart. So and our rights and our freedoms have been taken and taken and taken and taken.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the discussion of when is the last straw. When is your breaking point? My breaking point, and I'm telling you this on camera, on YouTube, is when they come to take my freedoms or take my shit, it's over. It's me or them. It's just like if a robber came to kick your door in and take your shit because they were addicted to crystal meth and they don't have anything. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not my fucking problem. My problem is protecting me and my family. And we talked about big groups, and you know that's
big groups can be infiltrated. There's just like the Hells Angels.
No,
we were talking about the Hells Angels. They got infiltrated. I don't know how many times. Same thing with the Proud Boys, right? They've been infiltrated as shit. I'm sure Antifa's infiltrated as well. You know? There ain't no big groups. You got to have your small groups.
Yeah, and if I had to, I would fly down to Texas and just, you know, the last places that are going to be taken or infiltrated. If I had to fight a war for Texas, I would be right there. As long as I had a place to stay, food to eat, water to drink.
Real Girl's bringing up a good point. We can all see the vaccination passport thing is a thing. It's already lost friends on Facebook due to not being vaccinated. It'll be a cold day in hell before I get that shot. They are bribing folks now to do it. Weren't you saying that they were going to offer to pay you money? Yeah.
No, they paid everybody.
They're bribing people to do it, offering bonuses and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Agreed, Riddle. So at my job, I work on a food plant, and I'm a mechanic, maintenance man, and I feed United States of America. They are actually giving people $100 cash if you get the vaccine, and they're giving you the vaccine for free. But my thing is I don't fucking care. It's my body. It's my life. It's my liberty. Everybody in my plant has had COVID. and I was sick, and I don't mean like deathly sick, but I was sick, and I got through it, and everybody else got through it. Now, I also am I see the other side of the coin, not the government, you have to get the vaccine side of the coin. I see the other side of the coin, whereas if you believe that you are sick, or if you are weak, or if you are in need of wearing a mask, in need of a vaccination, by all means, you need to do what you need to do
Exactly.
to protect yourself. And I've had this conversation with a lot of people, but me and Caitlin, we do not feel that we need to be injected with some shit that is highly untested from the government.
Mhm.
I don't get flu shots, and I get the flu. I get the flu.
Yeah, I get
But
it
I'm
like once every 10 years.
I'm still not going to get fucking vaccinated with some bullshit that was fucking concocted by doctors or government or whatever. But I think it should be the other way around. If I feel that I don't need to be vaccinated, or if I don't need to be masked up, I should have that fucking choice, because it's my constitutional right. And I hate to keep bringing up the Constitution, because the Constitution is dead.
Let's see.
Really?
Little girl's talking. Says when the bribing stops working, they'll make it a condition of employment, which there are going to be plenty of jobs that will do that. When the numbers are tallied after they force employers to police it, then depending on how many non-compliance there are left, they will up the ante and start forcing. I think by this time next year, it'll be mandated to get it. I don't know. We'll see. For me,
And that's what I'm
Yeah, go
waiting
ahead.
on.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was pretty much done. I mean, at some point, they're either going to make everybody get it or they're not. I think they're not. I don't think the government. I don't know if the government's actually going to come in and make it. What they're going to do is they're going to make it really hard not to get it, right? Because if terms of employment, right? If you want to be employed here, you got to have it. Well, that's fine. If you don't want to work for this company, I'm going to go over to this company where they don't make me. Oh, now they make me. Now what do I do? Now I got to go find a different job. Now I got to go find a different job, right?
Yep.
And now I've been planning for this shit my whole life because, well, in the Bible, it talks about the mark of the beast, and then if you don't have it, and I'm not saying this is the mark of the beast, but it says if you don't have the mark of the beast, you're not going to be able to buy or sell.
Right.
So, I've already been like, let's get more self-reliant. Let's make sure we can grow a garden. Let's do all these things, barter, shit like that. Because at the end of the day, at some point, and I don't know if this is it or not, but at some point, that might happen in my lifetime. Maybe it's not in my lifetime, but, that was what I was always prepared for, so.
And to be honest with you, and Riddle, I don't have a plan for that. Like, I don't have a plan for, if you don't get vaccinated, you don't have a job. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you once again, right here on camera, that Pre-Dawn is not prepared for that type of shit. So but also the way my job works is if I'm not there and the 23 other guys or the 11 whatever guys that are on my maintenance team that are not going to get vaccinated, they are also in my same boat. So it's going to be back and forth whether we're not going to get vaccinated. And if they say, hey, you have to be vaccinated to work here, then some real shit's going to pop off.
Mm-hmm.
I have enough stuff to live on my own for a while, but I don't have, I don't have piles of gold laying around. I can't barter. I can't.
Well, I mean, just even thinking about it, even like, okay, well, maybe I put back 10% of my money or put it into something else, put it into reloading equipment, put it into ammo, put it into something real. Bartering, little jars of alcohol. Little jars of alcohol. You know how great a barter system that is?
Yep. But it's hard to pay your property tax with alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is true.
So it's all about that because everybody's going to go along with it, right? Everybody's going to get the mark of the beast. Everybody's going to get vaccinated except for certain people, and they even not threatened, but they said, hey, if you get the vaccination, you're not going to have to wear a mask and a face shield anymore.
Yeah, right.
And me, I have to wear one, not out in public, but I have to wear it at work to be employed. So I'm already there, right? I'm already. It's almost worse than the vaccination, because I am required by my fucking job to wear a face mask and a face shield. So it's almost like the vaccination.
Both? You have to wear both? Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, most of the time I fucking have mine down and my face shield up. But it's it's almost as bad. But if they were talking about, well, if you get the vaccination, then you're not going to have to wear either. Well, I don't fucking care. I'll wear both until don't fucking tell me that I have to get this fucking shot. Don't tell me that I have to get it.
Right.
But if that happens, even like the hospitals, there's people like nurses and doctors that if they don't get it, they're fucking fired.
Yep.
So what do you do in that situation?
It's a personal choice. And just like, when they come to your house and you not really knowing what you're going to do until that moment happens, it's going to be the same way. Now, I know of some doctors and some nurses who said no, and they've lost their job, right? Maybe they start up their own business or their own practice or whatever. I don't know, but
I would sue the fuck out of them motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. That's the first step. Firing shots is not the first step when it comes to that. But
Biker Bob says 100,000 rounds of 22. He's set for bartering.
Yeah. I got a lot too. But you try to go down to your local. Well, I don't know where Biker Bob lives, but even if you live if you live on your own land and you don't have anything to worry about, no property tax, no bullshit, then you're set. But I live in a place where even if you own your property, you still have to pay property tax every year.
Yeah,
and try to pay your town with 22 long rifle. It's a little tough.
Right then and there, when they had property tax, there should have been an uprising in America.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You no longer own your property. You got to pay tax. And if you don't, we're taking your land. Excuse me?
Isn't that fucked up? I was talking to my 90-year-old grandpa about that today. I was like, it's kind of fucked up that you buy your own property, you buy the house, you buy the land, but then you have to pay the fucking town or the city property tax.
It wasn't always like that.
That is fucked up.
That's not how this country was founded. And personally, I think they should have revolted over that shit, but
yeah.
Anyway.
So we'll see what happens. If they come to me and say, hey, you have to get the shot or you're out, I'm going to test the waters first.
Right.
I'm going to say, I'm out. See ya. And I have enough money and ammo and stuff saved that I could make it years without having a job, or even depending on
that's
anybody.
A good prep. That's a great prep. I don't even have that. Years? No, I don't got that.
Yeah,
but
I could.
That's good.
I could live without a job for quite a while, and then my skills are very needed in other places.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
We'll see how far it goes.
Always need somebody to fix something, man.
Yeah, and I turn wrenches like a motherfucker. So we'll see how far it's starting with the COVID or the passport deal where you have to have the shot to go on a plane, and you got to have the shot to go to a baseball game. Well, fuck you.
Yeah, I don't need to go on a plane. I don't need to go to a baseball game. I'm good.
Right. But if it comes to the point where you can't have a job unless you have the shot, then it's going to come down to some fucked up shit.
You better have a side hustle, or somebody, should have a side hustle.
Or I will fucking, oh boy. If it comes down to that, it'll almost be like the bump stock case. Mm-hmm. Hands fucking down. You can't tell me that I have to do this to be able to work.
Yeah.
But it's been going on for years. This is not the first time. So we'll see what happens. But it's the same thing as when it comes to my door, I'll deal with it. And that's how I live my life. I'm not going to go out and go, hey, if you can't fucking make me work, because I'm not going to do that. I'm
Mhm.
going to, it's when it comes, I'll deal with it.
I like how Biker Bob's like, taxes are only $300 a year. I don't fucking care if it was $1 a year. Not only can they take your property if you don't pay your $300 a year, but they can also take it if they just need it. Freaking
Right.
No, we're gonna take it because we want to make a highway through this town. Eminent domain. Boom. Your property no longer your property. You paid your taxes. Sure you did, but we need this now, and we're the government. Nobody rises up over that shit. And it happens all the time. I don't know how many stories I heard here in Arizona when they were building part of the freeways. People getting kicked out of their businesses, kicked out of their homes, and they're fighting it, but they lose every fucking time. And nobody stands up for these people because it's for the greater good.
And that's my problem. I would figure out who's in charge of that shit and fucking go to prison. No, I mean, you know, I would. Yeah. No, I probably wouldn't get out of there alive. It would be. But there's places like in maybe not Detroit, but there's a lady that lives in a place where they're trying to build a highway.
Mhm.
And she would not fucking sell her land. She would not get off of that shit. So they built the highways over her house. They built the highways over her house. So
Yeah,
now
they're going her property value.
Yeah, every second of her life, she hears fucking I-45 traffic constantly, both ways. 4 lanes one way and 4 lanes the other. You know, so some people don't leave, but they still get fucked because, well, we're building the highway here. So yeah, when it comes down to it, in my opinion, in my life, is I'm gonna deal with the threats when they come.
Even Trump's wall. Oh, a lot of people were all, yeah, build a wall, build a wall. You know how many people's property they had to eminent domain in order to get that wall built?
Yeah. So what do you think about the whole thing? I was telling some gentleman today that and I don't get into politics much, but the one thing that has chapped my fucking ass in the last week is, so we've shut down businesses, we've bankrupted companies, we've made all the United States citizens wear masks, we've inundated 6 feet fucking social fuck you distancing, but yet we open up the fucking southern border and we don't fingerprint these fuckers and we let them in with no fucking questions asked.
And they're overcrowding too. There's like not even places to sit. They're over 100 times more full than the recommended amount. Right?
Yeah.
And they don't care.
Let them go. Just let them in.
It's the same thing that happened over the summer of 2020 with all the riots that were going on. Nobody was social distancing. Hardly anybody was wearing masks. But that you didn't hear the news bitch about that. Why? Because it's racial injustice. Right? We're fighting racial injustice right now. So this is not a super spreader. But here in Arizona, when we went to reopen Arizona rally, we're a super spreader because there was a couple of us that didn't have our mask on. You know,
that's fucking crazy.
Forget BLM over in Minnesota, you know, after George Floyd. No. The peaceful protest, for one. And for two, it's for racial injustice, right? Meanwhile, me wanting to reopen a business that should have never been closed anyway because every fucking employee is an essential employee. I'm the super spreader. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the kind of shit that chapped my ass, you know, just let them come in. We're not even going to fucking fingerprint these motherfuckers.
That's the thing.
Let them come in.
Hypocrisy. The government is absolutely chock full of hypocrisy.
Yeah, exactly. But you're going to fucking ruin businesses, people's lives, make them wear masks, go on fucking public TV and go, you need to fucking wear a mask to help your fucking fellow neighbors. Come on in. The border's open. Come on in. Get we don't give up. Fuck. That shit just fucking. But whatever.
Yeah.
I can't do nothing about it. You ain't gonna do nothing about it.
I can just sit here
I'm
and bitch about it, like
Yeah.
most everybody else. And if anything
Yeah,
ever
and-
lights up, I mean, we'll see. But
Yeah, and I'm not even bitching about it. I'm just saying it chaps my ass. And if them motherfuckers come to my place to take my shit, they're gonna get some shit.
I got an inbreed trigger with their name
I
on
got a pretty trigger. I'm gonna take them motherfuckers down.
it.
Yeah.
Hell
So,
yeah.
but it the hypocrisy really made it almost it's funny to me, and I guess I shouldn't say that it's funny, but in my opinion, it really is
Hypocrisy
funny.
is a funny thing. Yes, it is. It is hilarious to see how Biden was going to be like, we got a mask mandate on all federal lands, and then the same day he took office, him and his whole family, without mask or social
Yeah.
distancing, taking photos on Washington D.C. monuments.
Yeah.
It's that kind of hypocrisy that just makes you go, fucking hell, and just
Yeah.
laugh at it. Like,
Right.
what
Yeah.
the hell, guys?
Yeah.
It's all hypocrisy.
Yeah, and it is, and they're talking about the war on drugs and the whole fucking we can't have fucking cocaine coming across the fucking Mexican United States border, we can't have this, we got to regulate cocaine and we got to stop the cocaine flow. Open up the borders. Come on over, bitches.
And they're coming
Yeah,
from
it's
all
just-
sorts of places, not just Mexico either. I mean,
It's not just
shit.
Mexico.
So many more
About
countries.
Cuba.
than
We're
that.
talking about, and I guess it's almost terrible for me just to laugh about it, but I have to laugh about it because
Mm.
you ain't gonna do shit. And what are you gonna do? Go down to the southern border and
There's
No,
some
you
people
ain't
that
gonna do
own
that
land
shit.
down there that was doing that shit back in the day, but I guess they frowned upon
They
it.
were, yeah, they frowned on that shit, but and that's why
You
people
on
go,
my land? You're on it illegally, motherfucker.
it's over.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the whole thing is when it comes to my front door,
Yeah.
that's when I have to deal with it. And a lot of people have a problem with that. They have a problem with you're not going to get in the van, you're not going to leave your family, and you're to do this and do that. No, I'm not going to. But if it comes here or comes there, then that's when my last straw is broken.
Yeah.
Maybe that's very selfish of me, but
Hey man, you gotta
That's how
take
it
care of you
goes.
and yours. That's nobody gives
Well-
a shit about you as much as you give a shit about you. Right?
well, what the fuck are you gonna do? Are
Right.
you gonna get in the van?
I
Are
might
you gonna
be-
go out?
If they
And
come to
just start
pre-dawn
fucking-
desk, if they come to your house, I'll be there in like 2.5 days. And if there's still
Yeah.
anything left, I'll
Yeah.
consider it. I mean, if you do a Waco siege, yeah, I'll fucking join in. All right, I have no
Right.
problem with that. But that's the problem. We're first of all, we're not all going to move into one area and make a compound like the fucking Branch Davidians and shit. But
Fuck that shit. Yeah.
we're all spread out, and that it is what it is. That's why Mule is always talking about get together with like-minded people locally, which some have done, some haven't.
And it makes sense. And me
Mhm.
personally, I hate my neighbors. I don't know any of them. And fuck it, I am fucked if they ever have to defend my ass.
Yeah.
But I know local people that just there's instances where I'm not like the demolition. I'm not gonna I don't have a gun for everybody in my neighborhood. I'm not gonna.
no.
That is not gonna happen. I'm telling you what. If you come to my place and your fucking place is being raided, and they are telling you are gonna get the mark of the beast or we're gonna kill you, I don't give a fuck. You should have prepared for yourself long ago. You should have
There
bought
you
your
go.
own rifle. I know a lot of, and it's kind of funny in the last 2 years, there's all these anti-gunners, people that are totally against firearms,
Yeah.
firearms, whether they're left or right or in between or whatever fucking party they are. It's so funny because people have come to me and they go, well, if I need a gun, I'll just go over to Predon's place.
Yeah, good fucking luck.
Good fucking luck. I will. Things will happen, and you will not like what happens.
I had a guy that was like that. He had a lot more money than sense, right? He was a contractor, and he didn't know anything about guns other than he knew that I knew something about guns. So I was his gun guru, right?
Yeah.
And then all this shit goes down, and he's freaking the fuck out like, dude, I need an AR-15 like right fucking now. I'm like, okay, go buy one. No, I need one of yours. I'm like, why do you need one of mine? I'll pay you. You don't need all those. How many you got? And I tell them how many I got. You don't need all those. How many can you shoot at one time? I'm like, dude, first of all, you're freaking the fuck out. I don't know what the hell you're on.
Yeah.
Second of all, those are mine, motherfucker. Go do a background check on your own damn self. I ain't your gun dealer. So he does. I told him, it's real easy. If you don't have a criminal record, you're going to be approved. You'll be fine. He finally went and did it. Instead of buying an AR-15, he bought a 50 Barrett. And then he then he sends me a picture of him shooting this 50 Barrett. I'm like, all right. At least he can find ammo for it nowadays, though, so that's good.
Yeah. That's about the only fucking ammo you can find. But
I even found primers for 50 BMGs.
yeah. Yep. So if anything ever happened where if, especially Minnesota, we actually weren't a really, 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 really blue state until the Biden administration for some weird fucking reason.
Yeah, it's strange.
All these fucking dead people voted, and I don't know. So,
fucking pissed me off.
if it ever happened where, anything really, if Minnesota became extremely blue and you had to turn in all your shit or whatever the fuck the deal was, I probably, I don't know if I would stay and fight or not. If it came to the door, I would fight and I would die because that's how it is. You're not gonna, if there's a bunch of militants at the door, you're gonna die. You'll fight a bunch of them off, but you're not gonna.
Curb Stomp says we are unorganized. There are plenty of going people sick of criminals in government. Yeah, there's a lot of people sick of the government and knowing there's criminals, but nobody's going to do anything for anybody else because at the very least, I'm not going to stand up for you if I don't know you because you could be a child pornographer or something on your computer, And then I get associated with that. I'm like, no, that's not who I am. I thought this motherfucker liked freedom like I do.
Yeah. And that's why you just have to protect you and yours.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a few people that I would trust with my life, to be my sixth guy, and there's very few, but it's all you and your preference, and just remember that if you were to fight and fight hard, there's a chance that you're going to lose. Yeah. There's always going to be that chance.
I like to look back at the original revolution, right, against the British. But that was not organized for a very long time, and it just got to the point where people were pissed off enough to actually start shooting. And they got, they had their lives too. They had farms. Yep. They had to till and do all that stuff, and they had family and all that, but they believed in it so much they had enough of tyranny. I don't think we're at that point. I think we can handle a lot more tyranny than they could, for sure. But at some point, to say that the American people, because I've had this conversation with people like, what are you going to do? Go up against a tank with your little semi-automatic AR-15? It's not just me, motherfucker. I'm not the only one by myself. There's going to come a time when the American people get fed up. Maybe. We'll see. But it could happen, and they could win if they were unified and they had enough. Now, we've not had enough, not even close enough. You're going to have a lot of people who believe in the shot and believe in the mask right now being okay with dealing with you, right? Because they don't like you very much either, right? You're a right-wing conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
So,
and I think if anything was to ever happen, what would happen is it would start with California and New York, and it would pretty soon the control would work down from both sides, right? Let me give you a little tip. It would work down from both sides, and pretty soon everybody would be squeezed, and I think everybody would end up in either Iowa or the southern states, Texas, even Louisiana, and then at that point where it was squeezed to the point where gun control was, or even government control. It doesn't have to be just gun control. People think it's all about gun control. Mm-hmm. We're talking about people control. We're talking about we're talking about government control.
Well, right? I think we're heading. Sorry.
No, we're heading there.
We're heading towards
like
a
you
civil
said.
war for sure.
Yeah, but like you said, it's not enough right now to
For the
Rock
American
and load.
people, for the American people by themselves, I don't think it's enough right now. I think we're getting really close for states saying, you know what, we're
Fuck
opting
you.
out. Texas and almost half the nation went against 4 other states for their election rules, and the Supreme Court said, "Fuck you, we don't give a shit." So now, what is
Right.
Texas and all these other states supposed to do? Now you have Florida saying that they are not. They're going to make sure that nobody has to get the COVID passport, right? You have other
Yep.
states going to constitutional carry and also making laws saying that the federal government can't come in and change gun laws.
Right.
Like, we're not going to obey any federal gun laws because we have our own constitution here in this state. So you can kind of see here and there, some states are starting to grow some balls and say, no. We're not signing up for this shit. So
Iowa.
if a state separates, it's on. People,
It's on. Yeah.
order
I agree.
followers, Marines, veterans, a lot of order followers.
Cops.
That's not. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. It's just they want somebody in charge that they can follow. And when a state says we're seceding and we need you, then they'll either be like, oh no, I'm out of this fucking place, or they'll be like, fuck yeah, Texas, let's go.
Right.
And that's when they'll do it.
And that's exactly how I think and how I feel. And like Iowa, they just passed constitutional carry. Fucking Iowa passed constitutional fucking carry. And I'm not saying that's a big step, but that's a step. And and that's what I mean. If everything started being pressed and certain states started being fuck you, we are not fucking dealing with your shit, then I would move to that state. I would totally back that state and back whatever we would have to do, whether it's Texas, whether it's whatever, whether it's Iowa. If they wanted to fucking secede in the United States of America, Texas was the last state, right, to join the United States?
No.
No? What state was the last state to join the United States?
Alaska and Hawaii were the last 2, but Arizona was the last continental.
Yeah, but Alaska and Hawaii are fucked.
I know, but Arizona, if you're talking about the lower 48, Arizona was the last. Texas,
Really?
Texas joined in the mid 1800s. They're the reason the Civil War started.
See, and that's why I like talking to your ass. No, because I like to know things too. And see, I thought Texas was the last state to join the United States.
No.
But it's cool that Arizona was the last state.
In the lower 48, yeah.
Yeah.
We
But
just
what I'm
celebrated
saying
100 years.
is wherever it happens, right? So wherever the line in the sand is drawn, whether it's Arizona,
It's not gonna be
Texas.
Arizona. Arizona's fucked. We went blue.
Yeah, well, you went blue.
I went blue, yeah.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is wherever it decides, even if it's divided down to counties, fucking, I will move to fucking Douglas. No, I don't care. Whatever it takes is, if people start, saying fuck you, we're gonna make our own Second Amendment fucking state, county, whatever it is, I'm there, and I will be in the army or in the military or whatever it is, guard patrol to protect this great nation or the great state that
It's just our freedom.
secedes.
Just American, or freedom in general. People like talking about American freedom. How about the world freedom? The Constitution isn't meant just for United States citizens. It's meant for everybody across the world. It says everybody that was created under God is endowed with inalienable rights. So I don't care where you're born. You should have the right to protect yourself. You should have the right of freedom of speech. You should have a right to do these things. Freedom of religion, right? We get caught up in like USA, US. No, fuck, everybody deserves that shit, not just us.
Right. And I totally agree with that statement. And people always bitch and complain about the Second Amendment. What about the First?
Yeah.
What about what about the rest of the shit? What about life and liberty? What about being your own fucking person? And when Cuz was talking about earlier, talking about his lesbian sister, his gay nephew. Fuck it. Be gay.
Yeah.
Be fucking gay.
Do all you want.
And people will hate on me and hate on anybody for even saying that, because even in my mind, I think a relationship should be between a man and a woman. Get married, do whatever you want. But the thing is do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Here's the
This
thing.
is America.
As a Christian, I do think it's a sin. As an American who believes in freedom, do whatever
Yeah.
the fuck you want to do with whoever the
Yeah.
fuck you want to do it with, as long as you're both in agreement. That's what you're gonna fucking do. Call
Right.
yourself a mermaid, a fucking rainbow unicorn, skittle, for all I give a shit. But
Yeah.
if you're gonna call me a homophobe because I don't want to date a guy,
Yeah.
I have a problem with that.
You and me are on the same page.
Yeah. Like,
Same page.
You don't want to date a guy. You're a homophobe. No, I'm not. I just don't like dick.
But I mean, like, even me and my grandpa were talking. He's 90. We were talking about religion today, right? Like freedom of religion. And I don't care if you want to be a Jehovah Witness.
Right.
If you want to be a Jehovah Witness, be a fucking Jehovah Witness. But don't come to my fucking house and fucking preach on me about why I should be a Jehovah. If you want to do it, do it. Do whatever the fuck you want to do.
I'm okay with them coming and asking, hey, would you like to hear
Yeah,
about the good work?
yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day. And that's
See
where
ya.
that shit, that's where that should end. If I say yes, then you may continue. If I say no,
Right.
thank you, take me off
Yeah.
your list, I expect not to get a knock on my door next week.
Right. But that's what then that's where I'm totally at is,
Yeah.
do I feel that homosexuals are right? Do I feel that lesbians are right? No. But that's me, because it's man and woman, Adam and Eve. I don't believe that it's right, but if that's what the fuck you want to do,
Exactly.
do it. Just don't fucking expect me to join that club. I don't want to join that fuck club. But if you guys want to do that shit, that's fine. But then there's also freedom of speech. Expect for me to say, I can't believe you suck that guy's fucking dick. Don't fucking, you can't
I think
stifle my speech.
I think that's probably the most pleasant part of that relationship, to be honest. I mean, if
Yeah.
that's the worst,
Yeah.
oh man, that's not the worst. There's worse than
No.
that.
No, I know, and I was just trying to be as
Yeah, PC.
yeah. But that's where that shit goes. How was your food?
It's all right. She got me salmon.
What did you-
I don't like fish.
Gotcha.
Remember, I told you I hate fish.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna bring down some slow roasted, the flakiest shit you've ever had. Not a damn piece of fish from this man.
No, I know. Can't have everything.
I don't
I
even know
wanted a
where she
trace
got
around
this.
video. I wanted a trace around video. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't do a few things either, but next time. Is properly organically sourced? What? Okay. Which means it's not
that's
wild
funny.
salmon. It's fucking
Pond
salmon.
pond salmon. Yeah.
Nice.
So
I
yeah, I missed
I
the.
want to go to Alaska and have salmon. That's where I want to go.
Oh, that'd be the shit. Catch a
Mhm.
big ass fucking salmon and smoke that fucker.
We need to
But,
get friends with
yeah.
somebody in Alaska and go there next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do some fucked up shit this year. I'm not gonna go to Duluth probably in September. I might take a trip to. I don't know. I gotta do some shit in my life before I fucking
Yeah.
kick the bucket.
Oh, I get it.
I want to go to fucking South Dakota and catch some fucking perch. I want to do some shit. I want to
South
get
Dakota
a
has
cabin.
Good fish, huh?
Yeah, I like to fish. I like to shoot.
No,
So,
I mean, I didn't know South Dakota was known for good fishing.
yeah, there's actually a place called Devil's Lake in North Dakota. And it's kind of crazy because this lake keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And apparently at the bottom of this lake, there's farmhouses and barns and like telephone poles and shit. So
And
I can like go there.
It went over a city. Yeah,
It went over a city.
We had a man-made lake, right? They put up a dam and made a lake that used to have a town in it, and you can go scuba diving and go through the streets of the town. It was like in the 50s. The town was in the 50s when they flooded it
Isn't
up.
that crazy?
I kind of yeah. Well, I never thought about I knew about it, but I never thought about hey, let's go scuba dive that. Now it's technically an option. I could physically do it.
Fuck yes.
That'd be fun.
That's crazy. That is crazy. So Devil's Lake, North Dakota it's a town that's underwater that you can fish on. And it's known for big fish or perch or whatever, but there's a lot of things I'd like to go. Like when I was younger, we'd go up northern Minnesota, and I mean further than Duluth, and get a cabin for a week, and I launch the boat, catch some fish all week. Live off the land, catch the fish, eat the fish, catch the fish, eat the fish.
That's what I want to get to the point of. Like, I hate fish, I hate mushrooms, but lately I've been trying to eat it. For one, my taste buds have changed since everything, and for two, I would love to go on a camping trip and just eat fish the entire time and not have to worry about bringing any food. Instead, I'm like, oh, I don't like fish. I like to fish. I enjoy fishing.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. It's one of those things I'm trying to get over.
Yeah, I actually really am sad that I didn't get the opportunity to bring a fryer and some fish with.
No, that's all right.
No, I'm actually disappointed because we could have done some shit, but I didn't know what it was going to be like. And now that I know that we were sitting around a fire the whole week getting fucking wasted.
Which I love, by the way.
Good. I'm glad I am, like I was telling Cuz on the phone, I am really glad that you guys had a good time. That's good. For me, and another thing that I'm glad of is that Cuz drove everywhere.
Yeah.
I would have got so
lost. I mean, I eventually figured out how to get to and from my hotel room without any directions. That was kind of nice.
Yeah. But, when we go to Duluth, I'm driving all the time and Caitlin's sightseeing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was very refreshing for me for Cuz to drive us every fucking where. That really made my trip because I was not willing to fucking drive. It was nice that my truck was parked at his place most of the time.
Like, hey, you want to go to Galveston? Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, and maybe next year I'd like to go to Galveston, but you got to kind of take it slow. I was actually having more fun just hanging out with you motherfuckers and just being there. You know what I mean? I was fully planning on going to Galveston sometime that week.
Yeah.
But just the camaraderie.
Cuz had us busy. He had us going all over town looking at the history of the town and shit.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah. It was cool. It was cool going to the campus in Nacogdoches. Yeah. That was cool. Just fucking around, just driving around the streets,
Yeah.
And it was cool because he's a fucking major developer in that area. And by developer, I mean plumber, so as much as the stories kind of got old of him going, I plumbed that, I was already in there. I still have the keys to the liquor store. I have the keys
to that place, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool for me because it kind of brought me into his world. It brought me into his shit. And so it's cool because without people like that, civilization doesn't exist. And that may be over exaggerating, but there's in that area, you got to think there's so few people that
hard to outsource a plumber.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to have skills like that. I mean, it's hard to find people that have skills like that. And then I found out that Rooster is he is a cabinet and framing kind of guy. So he does all that kind of shit. And that's it's good to be in that kind of business because you can kind of do that shit for people's houses. You can do it for businesses. You can do it for all types of shit.
Yeah, he did
So-
say though that his business was affected a little bit poorly at some points, which makes
Yeah.
you wonder, like, if there's another house. I don't know if he was working in the 2008 with the housing bubble. I guess I would like to ask him about that, because if there's another, Riddle Girl thinks there's going to be another collapse coming, housing market collapse.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious, like, how is that going to affect him? If nobody's buying a house, nobody's building new houses. I mean, that's got to be bad for him.
Yeah, but he did a lot of businesses though too.
I know he's an elected official of the government, right? What was it? Riddle?
What?
Yeah, he has an elected title. What is his elected title?
Railroad commissioner?
Railroad commissioner?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a railroad commissioner.
I think. Or he's just a member of the railroad commission.
Okay.
Cuz?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, you and me both.
I didn't ask either, so I probably should have, but I mean, Real Girl had mentioned that like when we were there, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll ask, and then I never did. What's up, Trance?
Yeah, the railroad's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that the railroad was the first form of getting goods from one place to another. His
Cross
family
country.
and to be honest, his family history kind of interests me. Like, and just like you, I didn't really want to get into it.
Right.
Like, what's your brother do? What's your cousin do? Where the fuck do these people live? What kind of still do they run?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was funny when we were at Teddy's place. Like, I wasn't trying to. I guess I'm on the other side of the fence, so I wasn't trying to go. Where's it at? What kind of
Acting
fucking
like
shit
a
you're running
DA.
here? You know what I
Acting
mean?
like an agent.
I'm not. But see, and he doesn't see me as.
You should have just worn an ATF shirt, bro.
Right. Yeah. Right, but and to me, I don't see myself as that person.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just so intrigued and so interested in history and culture and people's lives.
Well, first of all, I am usually that person who does that foot in mouth shit. So let me just tell you, from my perspective, it was refreshing to have somebody else act like an ATF agent other than myself for once. Because once you did that, I'm like, oh, I can breathe a sigh of relief. I can't fuck up that bad. Thanks, Pre-Dog.
Yeah. No, and that's why I kind of stepped in first. I wanted to get that whole fucking shit right out of the way. And once that motherfucker, you got to think that he was totally expecting to pull that 180 proof out of the cabinet and have me take a sip out of it and go, what the fuck? He was that I could see in his eyes. I could see into his soul that he was expecting this northerner to take a sip of that shit and fucking spray it all over his little doggies. But I handled that shit like a beast. I was like,
I'm glad you did it, because man, I tried that 110. I was like, nope, that's enough for me.
Yeah, that shit is terrible.
110, man, that's sipping. I sipped a whole shot. It took me a half an hour.
I took a shot of it last night with a friend, and he was on fire. And then I tried to put some
mixing recipes with that shit.
No. I tried to mix it with I tried 3 shots with orange juice. I couldn't even fucking drink it. I could not fucking drink it at all. I was like, no fucking way.
Oof.
But yeah, so it for me, it was hard to not press and I wish he was in here when I was saying this, but it, like, when I asked him about his dad and about, from his perspective or from anybody else's perspective, it was probably me being way too fucking invasive on people's shit. But I just like to know people's history and the way they live, because I live in southern Minnesota. Nothing interesting happens here. Nothing. So
George Floyd happened there.
Yeah, fuck George Floyd.
It was interesting though.
No, I live in dude. There was fucking 3 white girls that were walking around downtown with a George Floyd sign. I don't give a fuck. I don't fucking care. Deal with your George Floyd shit do it. Do whatever you have to do to be an American and to make you happy. If you
Why
want to
does-
protest George Floyd, do it.
Why
Fuck
does
you.
salmon have a gray underlayer? You can't see it, but it's got a gray like backside of it.
Yep, the closest to the skin.
Yeah.
It's because of the skin.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only reason I've ate a whole shitload of salmon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I questioned because I stayed in the pasture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So his uncle lives in the pasture, right there, down that gravel road. You know, there's a road going through the pasture, and there's actually a little fucking log cabin right there behind the travel trailer that I stayed in. And I said, "Whose fucking place is that?" And he goes, "That's my uncle's." And I said, "What about the guy's house across from the pasture?" "That's my uncle's." And I was like, "You got two uncles?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, duh. Doesn't everybody have two uncles?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I suppose."
Yeah, I mean, I have more than one uncle, but they don't live like that close to each other, and definitely not that close to me. Although my family's
that's-
spread out.
And that's the interesting thing about I shouldn't say all family in Texas, but like his family is that the way he was describing it is, you know, people would have kids and then the older people would die. And then they would split the properties up and they would split the cattle up, you know, and this and that. And some of it's his dad's property. And they had to split that up between his kids. And so people built houses on some of this property. And that's just how it is. You know, it's a lot of people own a lot of fucking property in Texas. Like they
It
own.
kind of makes you wonder the first generation that came there and owned that much that then eventually got split up. Like how much was that originally? You know what I mean? There had to be a massive amount.
Right. And like when we went to that old dilapidated house, you know, remember with the red oak or red cedar or whatever it was, you know, that was part of their property to begin with also.
Yeah.
So everything back there was all their property. So, and that's where my problem is I am so fucking interested in like, just,
yeah, I was
guess
kind of
it's-
upset that he couldn't tell me who lived there. I'm like, this is your
yeah.
property, or it was your guys' property, right? You don't know
Yeah.
your family history right here? Come on.
Yeah, and it's almost offensive to people sometimes because
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? Where's this? Who dug this pond? You know, why is it 30 foot deep? Our lakes here are only 7 foot deep. You know, I mean, and I guess sometimes I come across offensive to people where I'm like, what is wrong with your dad?
Well, I
You
come
know?
I come across a lot like that too. I ask a lot of questions usually, and then usually some of them are stupid. That's an odd question. Well, yeah, it is an odd
Yeah.
question because I don't know
Yeah.
what the hell I'm talking about.
Right.
You
But
know?
for me, it's not an odd question because I don't know the fucking answer, and I'm
Mhm.
just trying to learn things about him, and that's why, like, when I asked you about things, I'm not trying to come across as like, oh, you don't do this, oh, you don't do that. I'm just asking you questions, Stinger, because I like to know shit. Like I don't have to know shit, but
Right.
I just like to know things. And yes, sometimes they're odd questions, right? But it's not because I'm trying to pin you up for some shit. It's
you're
because
right.
I'm a very genuine person when it comes to knowing things about people and like the American history and the history of your life and the history of Texas and like it people think that you shouldn't be interested in their family heritage. That's what it really is
I like
you know,
living
cousins-
vicariously. Like, what would it have been like
Yeah.
to live like that? What would it have been like to grow up like that? And
Yeah.
I do that with you too, without you knowing. I don't think I ever told you this, but I mean, you talk about your grandfather and how he's the reason why you got into shooting all this stuff, and I'm like,
yeah.
man, what would that have been like if my grandfather had taken me out shooting and doing all that?
Yeah.
What would I have turned into versus what I am now? You know? And
Yeah.
I get that. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I ask you weird questions, Stinger, don't go what the fuck is this motherfucker want to know that shit? It's
I don't. But you got to do the same thing
Yeah.
because I ask stupid shit too.
Yeah, no, it's not about that. It's for I don't know if I'm considered a historian or whatever it is, but I just like to know things about people, and it's interesting that people would like to know things about me because
Yeah.
it just doesn't seem like that would be interesting.
Well,
But that's how Cuz is.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with a grandfather who took me out shooting and shit. You know?
Yeah,
My grandfather was a piece of shit and died before I knew him. And my other grandfather, he was a rancher in Idaho, which, you know, I didn't really get along with him, but I respect him madly, right? Because he was a hard fucking worker. Even though at the time, especially because I was overweight, right? He looked down on me for being overweight. And that's fine. You know, I get that. It's whatever it is. But at the same time, I mad respect that fool because he had polio. He had a hump on his back. He lived until he was 98 working on a ranch.
Yeah.
Right?
Isn't that crazy?
The dude. Yeah,
That's
that guy
crazy.
was some. I mean, that's an idol right there. Like, I wish I could fucking measure up to that dude, but I'll never. Ain't no way. Yeah.
And that's what I think about, like the people that came before me. Even though I'm a millennial, like I was born in the '80s, so.
Mhm.
But when you think about like the Great Depression, you know, the people that grew up, everybody's so fucking complaining and bitchy about what they have or what they don't have, and the government, and they're gonna take this, and I need that from these people. It's all fucking bullshit, in my opinion, because you know, my grandpa fucking grew up making fucking $5 an hour, and he wasn't fucking working at fucking Walmart.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was climbing telephone poles and dealing with 600,000 fucking volts of power.
Wow.
He was working on the railroad. You know, that's where, you know, when he tells me these stories, I'm going, well, I guess I really don't have it that bad. you know, and that's my kind of shit. And
Yeah.
it's weird that he's 90 now and I'm 38 and he can barely walk, and you know, just to think about him climbing telephone poles.
I mean, but when you were 8 years old, that dude was 70 years old? 20 years ago. When you, 18. 18, he was 70. If he's 90 now, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was
I'm
teaching
38.
He was teaching
And
you this shit when he was past 60s.
Yeah, he was retired, fucking happy. And he was an engineer for the railroad. He built the first fucking pneumatic powered spike driver.
Yeah, you were telling me about
yeah, so it's
all those workers
kinda,
like, fuck you!
Yeah,
You're taking our jobs!
I took our jobs.
He took
So,
our jobs!
And that's the kind of shit that makes me laugh, you know.
Right.
And so when it comes to like people like that, you think about people that grew up when there was no color TV.
Mhm.
You know, there was barely fucking radio. And
How
then
about
you
no
look
TV?
at my life. Yeah. And you look at your life. You
Mhm.
look at all these people, and then you look at Cuz. That motherfucker ain't watching TV.
Mm-mm.
He's out there fucking shooting possums in the face.
My grandparents
shit-
in Idaho, the ranchers, they never had
Yeah.
power until recently. I was like maybe 10
That's
years ago,
crazy.
they finally got solar power. Other than that, they
Yeah.
would have a generator that they would have to fuel up, and they only ran it for like a half an hour a day. And that was it.
Yeah.
Everything else, they had gas lines in their walls to go into their lamps in the hallway because you didn't have light bulbs, you had lamps, and those lamps were built into your house with freaking gas lines through your wall to reach those lamps. It was crazy.
And so isn't that crazy? And so people ask me why I ask so many questions sometimes, but you got to think about when it comes to my generation or the generation, the life that I live right now versus the life that they lived. It is such a fucking generational gap.
Mhm.
It's almost like UFOs crashed and they got some fucking technology.
Mhm. Something like that.
No, but I mean,
It sure
you
did
think
advance
about
quick.
that shit. Yeah, it advanced from fucking gasoline fucking or
Now we
gas
got
powered lamps
smartphones and shit.
to fucking smartphones. Are you fucking kidding me? That shit is it just blows my mind, and that's why I actually enjoy more talking to the older generation.
I mean, 100 years ago, 100 years ago, no TV. Movies,
Nothing.
barely movies. Radio was the only form of
Crazy.
entertainment. And people still didn't have running or working electricity in most houses. It was still one of those things only the luxury people had, or the wealthy had it. Yeah.
Rich, yeah.
There was people still not having a car in 1921. A lot of horse and buggies still going on.
And that's what was funny is, hey, you could have a Thompson submachine gun.
Yeah.
Or you can have a car. Which one do you choose? It would be really tough not to go, I'll take a Thompson.
I'll take a Tommy. Man, can you imagine? That's something I really would love to go back in time, just to go into a hardware store or Sears Roebuck and have one mailed straight to my house. But to go into a hardware store and pick up a Tommy gun.
Yeah.
And no serial number. Well, I don't know if they had them or not at the time, but I know you didn't have to do no damn background check. You just walked out of there.
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of where I really disrespect the entitlement portion of our lives, of our government, or whatever you want to talk about. Is I hear all these stories from these people that, they worked for $2.50 an hour. And they were fucking climbing telephone poles. They were climbing power poles. They were fucking working on the railroad for $2 a fucking hour. And I know there's inflation and all this, right? And I understand inflation, right? I get that whole deal, but you get the sense of entitlement now in the United States of America, where everybody thinks that they are owed something by someone.
Well, right now, a silver quarter from 1964 is worth over $5. It's like $5.50, right? So you think about it. That's just like inflation's from the 1960s versus whatever. But that was when we were using real silver. That's when inflation wasn't going up; it was actually flat. So a quarter was $5.50. Yeah, if you made $2 an hour, fuck, you were doing pretty fucking well for yourself.
Right. And working hard though.
Yeah.
You were. But then, and that's why you look at Douglas, for instance, and just and that's when I was talking to Cuz earlier, I was telling him it just going to Texas, just going to Douglas County changed my life. I mean, and I don't want to make that sound like a kind of a weird thing, but it's almost like going back in time. When he was talking about like Douglas got their first blinking light.
Yeah, I saw that.
2 years ago.
Yeah. And it's not even it's just a yellow blink. It's a yellow blinking light to tell you, hey, watch out. It's not to stop or yield or nothing.
Yeah. And so my mind, I thought he was joking, and to be able to sit in an old fashioned, in a cafe, in a place where people do the shit like they used to do 100 fucking years ago, just to see a high school where a junior high school or a kinder where everybody's fucking armed.
Yeah.
The teachers are armed. They are there to protect their children. That shit it blew my fucking mind. And I guess maybe I've grown to the custom of where I live and whatever, but just to be able to step back in time a little bit, it made me feel good.
Yeah.
Where even in this area 20 years ago, you could drive around and fucking and hunt in a vehicle. You could road hunt and do.
Well, what's great is even in Douglas, small town like that, you have people on the right that voted for Trump. You have people on the left that voted for Biden, and they all get along. Like they're still just good friends. People at the cafe, there was a couple examples of that. Oh, looks like we might have lost.
Yeah.
Oh. And it was just kind of refreshing, right? Because they might have difference of opinion on things, but they still. It's not so different of an opinion where they can't fucking talk.
Right. It actually reminds me of, and I'm going to remind you, I was born in 82. but it reminds me of old government or old. I shouldn't even say government, right? It reminds me of how things used to be done. Just it brings you back to the simple life of try to make whatever you can do, and if you work hard for your living, then you earn your keep, right? And so now in America, it is I want what's entitled to me. And that, in my opinion, is complete fucking bullshit.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And it just felt so fucking refreshing to just to meet real fucking people that work hard, use their skills, use their hands, use whatever they have to make a living for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying anything about anything. I'm just saying that it was almost like a clean slate, you know. It was like it just felt good to meet some real people. Like the first day we walked into the corner cafe, and like it was me and you and Riddle and fucking. I was wearing a fucking I'm wearing my hat backwards. Everybody in that motherfucker was wearing coveralls.
Yeah.
You know, it was so cool for me just to, and I actually really expected for the waitress to like be a fucking complete bitch.
Yeah. Yeah,
and,
no, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I was expecting.
I was already profiling her ass. Yeah, I knew exactly what she was about until she said something. I'm like, oh shit! I'm glad I didn't say nothing bad. This nice lady here.
Yeah, and it was the hospitality. It was cool because she had blue hair, you know, and she was the only fucking person in Douglas that had blue fucking hair, and it was shaved up one side.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna judge her for that shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it was so cool to just go, holy fuck, these people are real fucking Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. It felt weird for me just to, because I've been in small towns like in my area and farming communities and walked into a small cafe and everybody takes a big fucking deep fucking breath and they're all looking at you.
Yeah.
And they're all going, who is this motherfucker? But we walked into a fucking small cafe in a town of 200 people in East Texas, Douglas County, and they were just fucking cool as shit. You know, every day it was cool as shit. And that's in my opinion, that's the epitome of America. And you can correct me if you want.
No, I agree for sure.
Well, you were there, so
yeah. No, I mean, as I said, I was right there with you, thinking that the worst of that lady. I'm like, here we go.
Oh shit, here we go.
Steers and queers. That's all I've seen in Texas here so far.
Right.
No, it was all good, man. They're real people for real. And that's the great thing is even here in Arizona, right? You have Trump flag supporters, you have Biden supporters, right? There's no talking. There's yelling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of yelling, but there's no talking. Yeah. And that was what it was there. That people were talking. They weren't even talking politics. They were just talking. But if I tell you right now, if I walk into a place with a Trump 2020 shirt or something, there are going to be people who don't want nothing to fucking do with me, or they'll come up to me and bitch at me and to my face. Right. Which I don't wear Trump 2020, but I got other shirts, you know. So we'll see. I'm sure Eric gets it all the fucking time.
Yeah, right? And I tried to keep my shirts to a.
Yeah, you go incognito. Gray man.
I went incognito. I wore East Texas shit all week. Yeah. And it was cool going to like the Douglas, the gas station in Douglas. You know, it really blew my fucking mind to see a Dollar General there. You know, I almost next time if I go, I'm gonna fucking go into that Dollar General and I'm gonna fuck shit up. I'm gonna walk around that fucker.
Where do you
like
keep your ether? Where's the ether? I need to find some ether right fucking now.
Yeah. I need to start my diesel truck. That's what I'm saying. Like, but when we left, I went to the gas station, you know, and so it's not pay at the pump. It's old school fucking pump action. Mm-hmm. And so Cuz was telling me that you have to prepay you know,
Most
to
places
fucking
are
get
like that.
gas.
Most
Right,
places around
so-
the United States, you have to prepay or use your credit card on it. Yeah.
But there's no credit card slot on
Yeah.
that bitch. I'm not sticking the fuck. So I walked into the gas station and I threw my card on the table and I said, "Listen, I don't know what I need. Here's my fucking card. You just charge
Turn
me
it on."
whatever the fuck. Just fucking turn that shit on."
Yeah.
And she goes, "Dude, you've been in here for the last week." She goes, "I don't need your fucking card. I'll turn that shit on. You pump what you need and come in here and pay when you're done."
There you go.
And so it was like 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, and
See you later, Tony.
Uh,
Tony's dropping out.
bye, Tony. Good Easter. So it was cool to see some old school pumps, you know, and I understand pay at the pump or pay before you pump because people
A
are
lot
fucking
of people
thieves.
take off. Yep.
They're fucking thief motherfuckers.
I've done it back
but
in the day when I was younger. Yeah, and it's one of
Yeah?
those things that, like, man, I really wish I shouldn't have done that. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things that you're like, shit.
you made America
I made-
the way it is.
You know
son
why
of
we
a
have
bitch.
$3 a gallon gas? Because I stole that one tank of gas all them years back. It drove the gas prices up.
Yeah. Right. But it was so cool to be able to see real fucking people, you know, and just the whole shit. I hate to keep bringing up Texas, but it
was a good
is
time.
if everything secedes to Texas, I don't care what the temperature is in the summer, I'm going,
Yeah,
you know. I'll buy
Yeah.
some property, whatever I got to do, but
I'm sure
it-
Texas
it-
won't be by itself if they do, but
right. Yeah.
you'll have options.
But it's right. It's
Pretty
so
sure
old
Minnesota
school.
won't be one of them, though.
No, Minnesota ain't gonna be one of them.
No.
But I actually talked to somebody from the Republican Party today in person and shook his hand.
Mm.
And yeah, it was cool. And so there's some young people. There are young people in the system that are coming up
Yep.
in the Republican Party, and that's what's going to have to happen. Is there's going to have to be people in rural areas that are going to have to take power eventually. You know, fuck Hagedorn, fuck Governor Walls and his
Mhm.
bullshit. Don't open up theaters. Don't open up fucking nothing. You know,
Right.
you're gonna have to eventually. People are gonna have to eventually fight back or lay down and get fucked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
pick one. And the guy that I talked today, or the gentleman that I talked to today, was 16, and he is on the committee of the Republican Party in my area locally, and he is totally a gun dude. He is totally just, he knows what's really going on. So it was actually good to talk to a fresh face and get to, you know, talk to somebody that is totally unpartisan about every fucking thing, but he sees what is really going on. And
I met somebody like that recently. He did not have a great childhood growing up. His parents weren't really there for him. He basically raised himself. He's 23 now with a fiance and a daughter, and this dude is so freaking right wing. It's not even funny. And nobody taught him that. I mean, this is just shit that he grew up, you know, like, fuck you, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. Fuck you, I'm gonna make fun of this fucker if I want to make fun of this fucker, you know. Or he's definitely politically not correct because he likes to, you know, how the camaraderie between good friends and like, fuck you, you fucking ass. He's doing this shit all the time, and you know that doesn't fly in school probably those days. You know, and it's impressive. Like, you can't. That's why I have hope for the future somewhat, because you have. It's almost like a counterculture now is shifting to conservatism, because everybody is like, you know, socialism. So, in order to be cool, you don't want to be with the group. You want to be cool, you know, with a smaller group. And the smaller group seems to be, so far for me, the counterculture is conservatism.
Right.
So it gives me.
And like he was saying, there's hope. There's definitely hope there, whether you believe in politics or government or not. But he was talking about. I mean, he was saying, well, you got to remember, if the Democratic Party won the House and the Senate, or is majority controlled by the House and the Senate, they're not going to get that shit back. And he looked directly in my face and he said, they're not going to get that shit back. And I just left it at that. You know, I
Right
went.
on.
So that's good. It's good to hear that there's fresh
Yeah.
faces out there, and there's people that still believe in the Constitution and the United States of America.
Well, nowadays, as I said, you know, back when, I don't know if this was for you when you were a kid, but when I was a kid, I was like, fuck you, mom and dad. I'll do whatever the fuck I want to do, right? I'm my own person. I'm going to do this. A lot of people do that when they grow up, right? And so they get away as far as they can from their parents. And right now, their parents are all, you know, Bernie Sanders and fucking Hillary Clinton and shit, right? Yeah, liberal as fuck. And so what are they going to go? And they're going to go the opposite way, get away from that as much as possible. And that's why I think we're seeing a big shift right now.
That's good. That's good.
Anyway,
I just hope this country turns out better than it is right fucking now.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and end the episode right here, though. I got to get going. We're going to go see if we can't catch that movie, The Nobody.
Nobody.
Yep,
Check that shit out. I promise you, you will not be.
That's what we're going to go do right now, actually.
Well, text me. Text me and let me know how it was. Do that.
All right, I will do that. And then tomorrow I'll watch the videos and comment.
All right. Good talking to you guys. I'm glad we had a good conversation tonight.
Hell yeah, man. It's always fun talking. That's why I like doing these gun chats things. They're a lot more fun than the other shit.
Definitely. All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, peace.
See you.